Welcome in, folks, to the ESPN Plus broadcast. Ryan Gildersleeve here alongside Cash Brown in beautiful, beautiful Ellensburg, Washington. Folks, what you are seeing on your screen is Steve Hertling Field at Tomlinson Stadium. And, folks, we are here for what is bound to be a heavily contested matchup. As previously noted, I am Ryan Gildersleeve here tonight on play-by-play commentary alongside color commentator Cash Brown. Cash, how are you doing coming into what may be the most stress-inducing day of my year?
Yeah, well, Ryan, it's going to be a fantastic matchup between two teams who know a whole lot about each other. They've met in the first round of the playoffs twice now in a row, so obviously the committee loving this matchup. This is their third time meeting, and Central Washington winning the first time they met back in 2023, last year in 2024 in the first round of the playoffs. That one was a win for Western Colorado, 28-21, that sent the Wildcats home. But now the Wildcats in a position that they haven't been in before, which is home field advantage. So here in Ellensburg, the Wildcats trying to right the ship and make up for their early exit last year. It's a team with a lot of aspirations, ranked 5th in the nation, and Western Colorado with a whole lot to prove. Two really, really tightly contested losses to great teams who are also in the playoffs right now. So they had the one loss by 3 points to Chadron State, and then they also had the loss by 3 points to CSU Pueblo, who's currently playing Permian Basin, down 17-3 right now. Permian Basin with a bit of a shocker there against Pueblo, but getting ready to kick things off here, and again, it's going to be a great game. Kennedy McGill leading the helm for the Cats, Drew Nash for the Mountaineers, and man, Ryan, I tell you what, this is set to be a really, really tightly contested matchup. Like you said, these teams have been close both times they've played.
So the Mountaineers come in tonight with 15-year head coach Joss Baines at the helm, as on the other end, your Wildcats, of course, the Central Washington Wildcats are coached by Chris Fisk. So bound to be what will be an incredible matchup. Cash, I am ready, as is everybody at home, as we boot this one away. We are underway as the Mountaineers will return. Bringing this one up and driving towards that right side of the field, getting caught up in a little bit of a pile, and just like that, down around the, say, 15-yard line.
Yeah, the Wildcats special teams has really kind of been the difference maker so far this year. They really got it figured out on the return game. They have a lot of explosive returns. They've been really good at keeping those explosive returns contained. And then obviously other special teams to note, David Weber, who's 12 of 14 on his field goals this year. He has really been clutch for the Wildcats. So special teams been a big thing for them this year so far. But we'll see what Drew Nash and company can do here to start this one off.
So that'll be one receiver out right, two out left for Nash. In the backfield with him is Quinn Bailey, his running back. Snap is to him. He's going to hand it off to Bailey, and he's going to make it a few yards up as he gets tackled on the sideline there on the near side.
Yeah, and the Wildcats with the #1 rushing defense in the LSC. Western Colorado ranked 6th, I believe. Or 5th, sorry, ranked 5th in rushing yards. They average 155 yards per game. The Wildcats allowing under 100 yards per game average on the ground.
So now second and about 2 yards for the Mountaineers as Nash gets ready in the backfield. Same set, 2 receivers out left, 1 out right. Snap now, coming its way to Nash. Nash going to hand it off once more, and they're going to flip it back as now making his way up and going out of bounds at around, say, the 42-yard line is going to be the Mountaineer flip man there. Ran a little bit of what we've come to find with some eastern New Mexico sometimes. You see the flips and all turns.
That's Victory David there on the little reverse that just catches the Wildcats flowing too far to the right of the field, so they get him looking there and ends up getting a pretty nice chunk play there. They're going to have to get creative in this run game. It's not a Wildcat front that can be easily pounded against, but we'll see what they try to do with a little bit of trickery early here.
A little extra blocker on the field for Nash on that left side. Still with his men and Bailey in the backfield. Approaching the half mark of the field as now Nash is going to fire in front of him. He'll hit his man, and just like that, a first down for the Mountaineers as they continue to roll in the first drive of the night.
Yeah, that's Caden Meisner on the catch. He's been phenomenal for them. He's their leading receiver. He's got 8 touchdowns on the year so far, 49 catches for 652 yards through the regular season. And, yeah, that's going to be a difficult one for the Cats to keep contained. going to be the big question mark. Drew Nash has just been so efficient, 30 touchdowns to 4 picks, 61% completion rating so far. That's tied for first in TDs in the RMAC, and he's leading in efficiency rating with 159.6.
And so Nash getting ready with it in the backfield. He'll send his man in motion out left. That's Bailey. And now here comes Nash. He's going to drive forward, and he's going to get a few yards. Looks like about 5. He'll cut the distance in half to the yard to gain.
Yeah, we'll see if the Mountaineers want to try and get some designed runs with him going. He's been a pretty efficient rusher, 463 yards on the ground and 10 touchdowns, so they don't mind using him on those designed runs. We'll see if that's something that they try to exploit. Western Oregon did a good job of that against the Wildcats when they almost took them down in the LSC championship game. So we'll see if maybe they saw something on film that they liked and trying to get him with those draw plays.
2 running backs in the backfield with Nash on this one. 2 receivers out left, 1 out right. Nash readying. He's going to send a man in motion, heading out left. Now the snap. And there goes Nash. Well, it's not going to make it very far forward as the Wildcat defense going to sniff that one out quickly.
Yeah, that was actually Josiah Roy who checked into the game at QB, taking the direct snap. So,
isn't that something?
Yeah, designed run for him there, but Nash still in the game. And
yeah, a little bit of trickery getting used by the Mountaineers here. We'll have to imagine that both of these two teams are going to pull out some stops. We haven't seen all so much from them as the season's gone long, one way or another. Still in that 3-man backfield, including the quarterback here. As now the Mountaineers readying for it. 2 receivers in the big side of the field. Snap. And this one going to be handed off. Now here's the toss, heading down the right side of the field, and that one going to be over the head of the intended receiver. That'll make 4th down on about the 40-yard line of the Central Washington Wildcats. Now the Mountaineers will send out the punt team as they get ready to move this one away.
Yeah, and that was Josiah Roy, who stayed in the game. Their other QB listed on their depth chart, and they try and catch the Cats looking there, but it just doesn't work. It was good coverage down the field, and the Wildcats were ready for it. So trying to get Roy involved early here and maybe try and get some different plays going with him. And, yeah, right there, it just doesn't work out for him, so they'll boot this one away.
And so the punt is up. Fair catch is signaled for, and it's going to be brought in, say, around the 7-yard line of the Wildcats. And just like that, the home team going to roll out the offense for the first time today as they look to see how it's going to stand up against some RMAC competition. Cash, we were looking into this game before we made our way to Tomlinson Stadium here today, and what we saw is the RMAC, 3 playoff teams this year.
Yeah, they have, and you know, in the RMAC, Western Colorado with the #1 defense in the RMAC, which is a great conference, like you said, 3 teams there make the playoffs, but they're the first-ranked rushing defense, and that matches up well against the Wildcats, who we know love to run the ball.
So now Kennedy McGill in the Wildcat offense there in the backfield as this one's going to be handed off. Now misdirection, making his way forward for a few more yards, and it will be a positive gain for the Wildcats on this one. Give them about 4 yards on it.
Yeah, that's Bo Phillips, who the Wildcats have really been missing. He's been that sort of elusive guy that adds that extra dimension to the run game for the Cats. You can see him cutting it back there, but Bo Phillips, who's been out with an injury for, I believe, 3 or 4 weeks now. The Wildcats have been missing him, like I said, so good to see him back in the game and finally healthy for hopefully the playoff push the Wildcats, I'm sure, are looking for.
So Kennedy McGill in the backfield. He'll have 2 running backs with him. This is a set that they roll out very frequently. There's now a man in motion heading out left. McGill's going to fake, and he's going to fire to the motion man. Now making his way forward, driving down that left side of the field for a first down, and a little bit more is going to be the Wildcat receiver. That time, number 14 dragging it in. And what a play that ended up being.
Yeah, Bo Phillips there again on the reception, so getting him involved early. There's a flag on the play, though. We'll see what the call is here. Might be coming back for the Cats if there was a hold. Western Colorado almost got a hand on that swing pass. That was a dangerous throw from McGill early, but.
So Bo Phillips is going to be tagged with an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, which will put the Wildcats in a considerably worse position than they were in before that play started.
Yeah, so the result will still be a first down. It's an after the play infraction. I guess maybe, I mean, we'll look at the replay here. Maybe the point at the end. I'm not exactly sure, but
looked like a little bit of a head bob where he was talking to him too.
Yeah.
So now the Wildcats going to try and do it again here. Kennedy McGill in the backfield. Two receivers out right, one out left. Snap is going to be handed off. And now, once again, the Wildcat run game going to try and get something going. This time, not the result that they were looking for. He gets snuffed up in the backfield.
Yeah, that's Justice Taylor on the carry, who's been the lead back so far this year for the Cats. And there's that number one rushing defense we were talking about, quick penetration, and Cats unable to have that play develop. There was a man in the backfield before anything could get going.
So, once again, they're going to try it on second and about 11 yards here to gain. McGill in the empty. Now 2 men in motion. He'll send his tight end to be an extra blocker on that right side. Running back joins him in the backfield. McGill now readied. Here's the snap. He's going to step back, look to pass. Firing deep downfield is Kennedy McGill. He's got a wide open receiver. That one's brought in, and he gets taken down, but not until he makes it to about the 33-yard line. On the other end, Mountaineer side of the field has been reached by the home field Wildcats.
Yeah, Samaje Featherstone on the reception, who really stepped into his own when Mason Juergens went down for an injury. You'll see here, McGill, Samaje Featherstone just wide open up the seam. Looks like he split the safeties there, and that's a part of the Wildcats game that they've been missing, finally getting some explosive plays. And like I said, Mason Juergens, who'd been out, actually now active again today, but Samaje Featherstone getting the catch there. And
8 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in the first quarter of action as Kennedy McGill with 2 running backs with him in the backfield. He's got 2 receivers out right, 1 out left. Looking to see what they can do after the big bunch play. This one going to be handed off. It looks like Justice Taylor. He's going to drive forward for about maybe a couple to a few yards.
Yeah, you're going to have to work for every yard against this Mountaineer front here. And we've seen the Wildcats rushing game get off to a bit of a slow start, but they never really turn away from it fully. And it's just one of those games where you chip away until it works. But Mountaineer showing some early resistance here against that.
So now on about what will be 2nd and 8. The Wildcats get ready once more. McGill, 1 running back in the backfield with him. He's got an extra blocker to his right. 2 receivers deep left. Snap coming back to McGill now. He drops back, looking forward. He fires, finds his man in Malloy, who's going to take a hit, but he will push forward for maybe a couple more inches on that one, doing a good job of pushing the ball forward, say about 5 yards.
Yeah, in the media interview with Coach Fisk this week, he was talking about just getting Kennedy McGill into rhythm early. Last week, obviously, he had a bit of a rough first half against Western Oregon in that LSC championship game with the 2 interceptions. Just a little bit ill-timed there, but again, trying to give him some concepts where you just kind of find the guy, get into rhythm, and McGill, who's been a good passer, he's got 17 touchdowns to 5 picks, 53% completion rate on the year, but definitely the dual-threat quarterback that they got to be looking out for.
Justice Taylor in the backfield with him. 2 receivers deep right. McGill going to stop, fire the screen over out right. The receiver stays on his feet, but he's going to get sniffed up after that. That'll be a loss of yards for the Wildcats, and it will make about 4th and 6.
Yeah, and now, we talked about earlier the level that David Weber has added to this team, and they're actually going to try a field goal here from deep. David Weber, so far on the season, he's 12 of 14, and he's 5 of 6 from 40+. So this definitely not out of his range. This looking like it's going to be close to a 45, maybe 46-yard field goal for Weber.
The junior kicker from Sevelin, Switzerland. Here's the boot. Up it goes. Does it have the legs? It does. Does it have the accuracy? It does. 3 points on the board as the Central Washington Wildcats jump out to an early lead over the Mountaineers.
And what a weapon it is to have a guy like that on the roster. That's pretty unheard of for this level of football to have a kicker that's that consistent from that far away. And yeah, Ryan, that looked like it might have been good from 50.
Yeah, Cash, that one, when he puts the boot to the ball, it is just a heck of an exhibition. He has been great all year long for Central Washington. It's not necessarily a situation that you can debate all so much as on the other end, the punter doing a great job too. Wyatt Redding. Wyatt Redding, of course, was the kicker for Central Washington coming into last year. So you may remember, as that name gets brought up, he was the kicker for Central in the last time that these two teams met. Now, of course, as you mentioned, to kick off the game, Cash, this is the first time that these two teams have met at Tomlinson Stadium. So you have to wonder how the difference in Well, not only the difference in environment, but specifically maybe even the difference in elevation is affecting
Yeah,
Western Colorado.
no kid. Well, I mean, if anything, it's probably an advantage for them. They'll feel like they can run around forever,
Right.
being down here. But yeah, obviously the Wildcats not having to adjust to the altitude, which is definitely kind of an overlooked aspect, I think, of playing football, and it does affect the players. I mean, Coach Fisk was talking about it this week in the interview, and he was definitely happy to not have to worry about that.
As now booted away goes the kickoff. It's going to be a dagger into the back of the end zone, and just like that, they will start it off from their own side of the field as Cash, we get ready to watch another Mountaineer drive. I will say, that last time out, Central Washington did a good job to sniff it out late, but early on, I mean, the Mountaineers look great. Cash, as you were noting before the game even started, quarterback Drew Nash has just been surgical from the backfield all year long. There's a reason that they found themselves in this first round of the D2 playoffs, and he might just be a big part of it.
Yeah, he's been so electric for them and just so efficient. It's just very, very limited amount of mistakes for how much they throw the football and how much they ask him to do.
So Nash now in the backfield for the Mountaineers. He's going to send a man in motion. Now he's going to head right back out that same direction. It's going to be a screen play, and he'll drop it. So the toss is right in the breadbasket. Unfortunately, unable to reel that one in is going to be Victory David, who has been really, throughout the year, a major piece to this offensive game plan.
Yeah, they love to send him in motion and get him involved, and that time, yeah, it just looks like a bit of a miscue there. I couldn't tell if the ball was a little out in front of him, but, yeah, unable to haul that one in. He might have had a little bit of room to work. It didn't look like the Cats got over there in time.
As now Nash going to move out right with the ball. He makes a quick throw, and his man's going to make the catch, but immediately get driven back by multiple Wildcats. That was a good job to get the ball out. DJ Allen on the catch there for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, Jalen Weber gets in there early, and then Brett McCullough joined him on the tackle, and you have to think maybe part of Western Colorado's game plan here is just to get the ball out quickly. It's a defensive line for the Wildcats that's been so productive in the pass rush this year. Ty King leading the LSC with 12 sacks. Makeo Edward in the interior line with 7 of his own. So they've been really, really efficient at getting to the quarterback, and we've seen teams try to kind of take that away from them throughout the year.
So 3rd and 5 for the Western Colorado Mountaineers. Snap coming back to Drew Nash now. Here it is, looking out left with it. He's got multiple receivers. He makes a great toss to his man, but the defense just too much at that time. It doesn't look like there's any laundry on the field. So with that, that'll make 4th and 5 for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, it looked like that was Jalen Owens on the pass breakup, who really, really has been solid for the Cats this year. No picks to his name so far, but 7 pass breakups in the regular season, and he's been undeniably a great piece of this secondary that really has been tested quite a bit. There's a lot of air raids in the LSC, so Cats have definitely been tested themselves. But another punt here from Western Colorado.
This one booted away. There for it is Central Washington. No fair catch on this one, and that's going to be a little bit of an exhibition of why you throw the hand up there, Cash.
Yeah.
He will bring it in, but he's going to take one heck of a hit.
Yeah, Micah Robertson, the return man for the Cats, just really popped there. I mean, you can see here maybe you're right, might have been smarter to throw up the hand, but he won't. I believe on the catch or on the tackle there, that looked like Jace Perez, redshirt sophomore for Western Colorado, with a big hit.
And so now, here come the Wildcats once more on offense. They lead it by 3 right now with just about 10 minutes come and gone in this first quarter. As now McGill going to take the snap, and he'll hand it off to his man in the backfield. Pushing forward, getting a few yards, but not also much, is going to be the Wildcat running back once more as they keep mixing them up. That was Ryder Bumgardner.
Yeah, I would imagine that they want to keep those legs fresh, just with, again, we talked about it already, how much they like to lean on that run game and trying to keep fresh legs. You got the full might of that backfield back now with Bo Phillips, so no rush to keep one guy in the game. All 3 of them really, really efficient when they get their touches.
So now an empty backfield for McGill besides an extra blocker and Malloy. The Mountaineers look ready. A little bit of motion from a receiver on the right. Now McGill going to take the snap, sitting in the pocket. He's going to try and make a move forward. He's trying to find himself any sort of space. He will find enough to get the ball out. And some good awareness from Kennedy McGill there to not take the sack.
Yeah, it's a great job coverage-wise down the field by Western Colorado that just had that blanketed, and McGill had nowhere to go with the football. But like you said, good pocket awareness to just kind of hang in there and wait and try to let something open up. But he's just going to toss that one out of bounds, not try to force anything.
I think the biggest message of this game so far has definitely been the defensive prowess of both of these two teams, holding each other to just about nothing. As now McGill in the backfield, gets ready once more. Running back set up to his left, 3 men out right, 1 out left. Snap, here he comes, dropping back. Full drop for McGill, who's going to try and go forward, and he's going to get hit immediately. The gadget quarterback trying to do what he does best. Unfortunately, Western Colorado very much ready to make something happen.
Yeah, it looked like Ian Loomis and Caden Stewart were in on that sack together, and yeah, they've done a great job blanketing down the field in coverage, and McGill's just had nowhere to go with the ball. They've been getting some quick penetration, so Ian Loomis has just been unbelievable for Western Colorado so far. He's already got 5 sacks, 12 tackles for loss, and 95 tackles on the year. He leads by a wide margin in terms of that.
And so this one now booted away by the Cats, and that's going to be brought in at about the 45-yard line of Western Colorado. So about 5 yards in their own side of the field is where the Mountaineers will start it off as quarterback Drew Nash and the remainder of this high-powered offense takes the field once more. Thank you for tuning in to this broadcast today, folks, on ESPN+. I am Ryan Gildersleeve alongside Cash Brown. It has been such a beautiful day to kick things off. I mean, could you have asked for a better weather?
Like maybe a little warmer if I had a.
I mean,
you know, it's not too bad though. It's football weather. This is playoff football weather.
You do what you
can
can do.
The guys love it. Yeah, it's not
late
too,
November.
Yeah, not too bad out there.
The gales of November even.
Well.
As now this one going to be a little bit of motion from the left side receiver. Snap back to Nash. He's going to fake the handoff and try and get the ball out quick. Unfortunately, the Wildcat defense just not allowing him a whole lot of offensive ability there at all. I will say, Cash, it almost looks like they're getting up so flat when they're getting in against their blocking assignments that it almost appears as though Drew Nash can't really see over the line.
Yeah, they were just trying to get that one out to their tight end on that one, and yeah, Chase Colson was in coverage. I think he had a little bit of room, but it's just a little too far in front of him.
So Nash will have 2 receivers out left, 1 out right once more. A running back in the backfield with him, I believe it's Bailey. Here's the snap from Nash. He's going to hand it off to Bailey on this one, and he's going to get sniffed out immediately. The run game not working all so well as some emotion being showed by the Wildcats there from Brett McCullough, the linebacker head of this Wildcat defense. And you really can't take anything away from any specific part of the CWU defense. They have been pretty solid all year long, though. If there is one place that you can point to, it would be the secondary. Drew Nash and the Mountaineers have been precision locked as the season's gone long when it comes to taking down secondaries. We'll see if they're able to get anything here on 3rd and long. Nash fires forward. Again, his receiver's unable to reel it in. It goes out of bounds, and it'll be 4th and long again.
Yeah, Brett McCullough gets the pressure there on Drew Nash. The Wildcats sent 5, so really putting an emphasis on making Drew Nash uncomfortable in the backfield, and he just really has not had any time to survey this field. And pretty good man coverage across the board for the Cats so far when they've been asked to do it. And yeah, clearly, Ryan, they are not trying to let Nash get comfortable in the backfield. We talked already about how prominent that defensive front has been. They're showing it again today.
And so now this one booted away. It's going to go far, and it will be brought in by the Wildcat return man heading out right. He's going to get some room, find a little bit more as he shakes a couple defenders, but it looks like it'll finally fizzle out around the 27.
41-yard punt for Grable.
What a performance it has been so far. Folks, you know, there was 2 ways that I could have seen this one coming as the day began, and it was either with one of these 2 teams jumping out to a massive lead to kick it off, or with both of these 2 teams kind of stalling just a bit with the other defense being as good as it is. Now, I really think that holds up as we go later and later into this game. 2 minutes and 35 seconds remain in your first quarter of action, and the Mountaineer defense looks to put a stop to the Wildcat front once more. McGill in the backfield, looks like Justice Taylor lined up to his left. 3 receivers out left, none out right for McGill. The Wildcats getting ready. Snap is back. McGill drops back, has pressure on him, fires over to his man in Taylor as he'll make his way forward, and he's going to get out of bounds there, but not until after he makes his way forward for a nice little gain. That one was actually, no, it was Justice Taylor. It was Justice Taylor.
Yeah.
5s and 6.
Yeah, they're tough to see, the red
are.
numbers out here. But, yeah, it just didn't look like there was anybody in the flat right there for the Mountaineers. And just looking at it, I mean, they just, yeah, they had no answer for that. The pressure came quick. It looks like they kind of sent the house on that one. McGill with a, I don't know if that was a check down or maybe a design screenplay to the outside. Malloy looked like he was ready to block, but nobody out in the flat to stop that one before a gain of about 15.
McGill sends a man in motion, heading out right. Here's the snap. McGill moving that direction. Gets it to the motion man. He makes his way forward, and he's going to slide under a couple of defenders to get a couple of extra yards. Maybe 7 on the game there. Oh, closer to 6.
Yeah, Logan Brady on the catch, who really, I mean, in this offense, he's been mostly involved in the 2-minute drills and, you know, obviously responsible for the huge catch and touchdown win on the final play of the game against Western Oregon last week. But Logan Brady really has been earning his stripes when this team needs him to come up clutch, but they're trying to get him involved early here. He's pretty dangerous with the ball in his hands.
Now the Wildcats set up once more. Running back in the backfield with McGill. 2 receivers out left. Here's the snap. McGill making his way forward. Looks like he's going to carry it, and he will. He'll get forward for a first. But now the Mountaineers look like they're pointing back as though they took over the ball, and they did.
McGill lost that one. That one was forced out. I didn't see who forced the fumble on that one. We'll take a look. But, yeah, McGill, who was lucky to hold on to it last time. Yeah, here is McGill, and looks like he just ran into a guy. Yeah, it just pops out on that one. So, yeah, I'm not exactly sure who even forced that for Western Colorado. It looked like it might have been Dre Thompson, the DB, who got a hand in there and poked that one out. But a bad turnover from McGill, and
so now some opportunity is on the horizon for the Mountaineers. We'll see if Drew Nash and his boys can get something to go here as he sends the man in motion out left. That was Damian Neville. He's got it. Now he's going to drive up forward, and he will get undercut, but not before he gets about 5-6 yards.
Yeah, and really they're just trying to get the ball out of their hands quick, and I think, you know, if they can adjust to that and find some success maybe on these early screen plays or quick route concepts, I think it's going to be a lot easier day for Nash. You got to get him into a rhythm early and really try and minimize this pass rush from the Wildcats.
So now Nash in the backfield, getting ready for another play. Sends a man in motion, heading out right. That's Neville. Now here's the snap. Heading out left is Nash. He's going to keep it, and he's going to go down, but not until he gets about 2-3 yards on the gain. Yeah, give him 2 on that one. It'll be 3rd and 4.
So, yeah, we figured, you know, maybe they try to get Nash involved in the rushing attack. He's actually tied for the most yards through the regular season with Quinn Bailey, and 463 yards on the ground for Nash with 10 touchdowns. He's a big body. I mean, he's 6'2", 215. You can definitely get him involved, and he runs heavy, as you can see. Not afraid to get physical with it. But again, Mountaineers finding themselves on 3rd down.
So, like you said, Cash, about 3rd and 3.5. And the first quarter will come to a close. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take our first break of the evening, and we'll be back with you in just a moment for the second quarter of action here from Tomlinson Stadium on ESPN+.
From this NCAA championship, visit the Wildcat Shop RV located in the south end of Tomlinson Stadium for exclusive championship gear and memorabilia.
Welcome back to the ESPN Plus broadcast. Ryan Gildersleeve here on play-by-play commentary for all of tonight's action alongside Cash Brown on color. As folks, we get ready to continue to detail for you the events of CWU versus the opposing and visiting Western Colorado Mountaineers. It has been a great matchup so far. We just flipped the field here, folks, as we begin the second quarter and the end of the first half. 3-0, your current score. Central Washington leading it at home. Here's Drew Nash and the Mountaineers getting ready to go on yet another offensive drive. It's 3rd and 4. They need it here. Hand it off. No, he'll keep it himself. Nash on the drive, and he's going to take a big hit right to the gut. Did they stop him before the line to gain? It would appear as though they did, and a 4th down forced after a great defensive play by Central Washington.
Yeah, it looked like King Williams gets in there to stop him, the cornerback, who's been really good in coverage this year for the Wildcats. Yeah, just lays the boom on Nash, and a stout stop from the Cats. And it looks like, Ryan, even on the 45, they're going to play this one conservative and punt this one away on 4th and 2.
Well, and at this point, Cash, I think you got to play as traditional as you possibly can. I mean, you just cannot afford to give up any sort of space. As a good decision there by the return team. They're going to let it roll out the back of the end zone, and the Wildcats will sit at just about their own 20, 25, 25, 30.
Yeah, and you have to think it is the right decision, too, I think, to not get too aggressive early. I mean, with how good both these are and how good they've been playing so far, there's no reason to get cute this early in the game. And, yeah, you want to play the field position game. I mean, obviously, I think they wish that punt would have rolled not out of the back of the end zone. It'll set them up at the 20. But still, you're flipping field position and forcing the Cats to try and string together a drive. And, again, #1 defense in the RMAC. They've been really, really good this year, allowing under 100 yards per game on the ground.
And so Kennedy McGill stepping back and firing to his left side to start off the Wildcat drive. That one will be forced incomplete by the Western Colorado defender. Doing a great job there is, I believe, number 16 there on the defense.
I believe that was Blaze Del Barrio.
Wow.
On the pass breakup. And, yeah, trying to find Grable on a quick out route, unable to do so. And, yeah, that was
number
18. 18, Blaze Del Barrio. So good stop there from them, and we'll see if the Cats can start getting a little bit more rhythm in this passing game.
So a man in motion is going to park himself to the left of McGill. Now 2 men in the backfield. Another man in motion is going to join them as he heads to the left side of the field. This one's going to be handed off, and they had some quick gains, but unable to keep it moving past that. Looks like they're only going to get about back to the line of scrimmage. Well, about a yard gained. So it'll be 3rd and 9 for the Wildcat offense.
Just trying to scheme open some gaps there, I think, and trying to get this interior rushing attack going. Bo Phillips again with the carry, but yeah, I tell you what, Ryan, this Western Colorado defensive front came to play so far today. They are not allowing a whole lot. They only run the 3-man front. It's a 3-4 defense, so sometimes you can get exposed there in the run game, but not the case with this defense so far this year. They've been phenomenal.
Now Kennedy McGill. 3rd and long. You'll send Malloy in motion out right. McGill now stepping back, looking deep downfield. He's going to fire, have a man that was there if he didn't turn around. And a poor anticipation play by the receiver is going to lead to a pass that's going to hit the ground.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily on Brady or McGill. Brady just kind of finding the soft spot in the zone. It looks like he sat down, so maybe a bit of a miscommunication. But that one, yeah, just too far out. I mean, he had all the daylight in the world in front of him after that one, so probably would have been a touchdown if they could have connected on that one. They'll wish they had that one back.
So now the punt team comes out, and I will say, Cash, I think maybe the most punts that I've seen up until this point in a game from Central Washington as the year's gone long. As now that little option punt play that they like to show doesn't really end up in a whole lot of trickery all so often, but when it does, you will remember what we said right then, as now being brought in and anchored down around the 46 of the Western Colorado Mountaineers. They get ready for yet another offensive drive. And Cash, what do you think's been going wrong for the Mountaineers, as though they have not been able to get any points up on the board yet?
Yeah, the Wildcats have just been really good to swarm to the ball so far. I think they've been tackling well and been making good open field tackles. The Mountaineers clearly with a game plan to try and get the ball out of the hand of Nash quick and kind of set up these quick concepts. But those don't work if the Wildcats are tackling well and your blocks aren't developing downfield. So we'll see if they try and maybe establish a bit more of a run game here.
So now Mountaineer offense going to hand it off on the first play, and he's going to go all the way. The best rushing defense in the LSC, made to look like a middle school line there, as just an amazing play is going to be registered by Quinn Bailey. Drives the entire length of the field from where they were, about a 53-yard touchdown drive for the Mountaineers. They take the lead here in the second quarter.
Yeah, and I mean, Quinn Bailey was just untouched through the gap, it looked like. There was just nobody to stop him. I mean, I said try and establish a run game. I didn't think that's how they were going to do it, but you catch the Wildcats lacking on there and your blocking assignments go well, and yeah, Quinn Bailey just off to the races. There was nobody there. The extra point goes up and is good. So 7-6 here. The Mountaineers take the lead. What a play here. We'll look back at it. And yeah, it looks like, I mean, he just went untouched. There was nobody there, and they just totally spear the middle of the field. Quinn Bailey, one of the easier touchdown runs he'll probably have in his college career.
Yeah, I mean, just a great job there by the Mountaineers to find something that didn't quite look like what they were expecting from the Wildcat defense, and boy, did they exploit it. That's going to make it a 7-3 ball game now following the extra point with 13 minutes remaining in this first half. Central Washington on their own home field, kind of, well, not necessarily up against the ropes, but you're going to want something to come out of these next couple of offensive drives, because going down multiple scores against a team like the Mountaineers is not how you advance in these playoffs.
Yeah, just a couple missed opportunities from the Cats, I think. I mean, obviously you can go back and look at the Logan Brady missed throw and missed catch, whatever way you want to write it. I mean, something obviously went wrong. Don't know if it was a miscommunication, but you have to think right there, it would have been 10-0. But just like that, I mean, the play after, the Mountaineers with an explosive play in the rushing attack, which hasn't necessarily been their bread and butter so far this year. I mean, they have the second overall offense in the RMAC, but only 463 yards on the ground all season from Quinn Bailey, and he gets almost 50 right there on that play.
So now kicking away the ball after the touchdown drive by Bailey, like you were talking about, Cash, is going to be the Mountaineers. The return by Central Washington going to get about to the 32-yard line there. Looked like Samaje Featherstone, the returner. Big number 19. He has looked very solid as the year has gone long. Gotten more and more opportunities towards the end of the season.
Yeah, with the absence of Juergens, who I actually haven't seen on the field.
No.
We heard he was going to be active today, but I have yet to see him out on the field. So not sure if maybe there was a setback there or if they're just kind of trying to roll with the chemistry that they already had. But yeah, I have not seen Juergens out there today.
So here's the Wildcat offense. Kennedy McGill getting ready for it. Man lined up to his left. He'll have a receiver now in motion, joining them in the backfield, and he's going to take the handoff, make his way forward, and that's going to be a nice little gain play for the Wildcat offense on their first play of the drive.
Yeah, they're going to need to establish that run game. It's their bread and butter, and it opens up so many different facets of their offense. They've been really, really effective off play action this year, and obviously, you know, the Mountaineers trying to minimize that rushing attack so that doesn't end up being the case, but trying to open it up here and kind of just, I think, open up the playbook or the Cats and get back to sort of what they do well because, like you said, Ryan, not a team and a defense that you want to be trailing big too early.
Now Kennedy McGill takes the snap, and he's going to hand this one off to the man lined up next to him, driving forward and not getting down until a big gain was registered is going to be Justice Taylor. Takes the handoff from McGill, and the rushing attack seems to be the name of the second quarter.
Yeah, Justice Taylor just with a massive hole here and just slipping through some defenders. They just didn't have anybody in their gaps right there. And
McGill going to hand it off, and again it's going to go to Taylor. This time not going to have the same result. Instead, he's going to make it back to the line of scrimmage and no further.
Yeah, Cade Musser in on the tackle, trying to get a little bit of revenge after the big game. That time they plugged the gap early and take down Taylor before he gets very far.
And so the Mountaineers looked pretty good on that stop. Wildcat offense back out on the field. Two men lined up to either side of McGill, one behind him. Looks like a bona fide run play, but now a man in motion will head out left. McGill going to keep it, and he's going to go down early. They had that run sniffed out before they snapped the football. McGill just not able to get it done on the ground with his legs so far today.
Dre Thompson, who was involved on the forced fumble earlier and on the tackle there, and yeah, they kind of let Taylor go actually to the outside. I don't know if maybe McGill should have handed that one off or if it was just a good job swarming to the ball after the decision was made. But the option play there, which the Wildcats love to run, we've seen it so much this year, but it brings up 3rd and long now after a couple of big chunk plays to start it. They'll be staring at a 3rd and long.
So now here come the Wildcats on what should be a pass play, 3rd and 9. McGill getting ready for it. He's going to take a step forward here. Now waiting the snap. Here it comes. McGill going to hand it off, and going are the Wildcats trying to get this last little bit of yardage needed for the first down. They will not get to the line to gain, but they will be close enough that you have to wonder if the coaching staff and Coach Fisk is going to consider sending out a conversion attempt. It would appear as though that's the case.
Yeah, I think they call the run play there because they know it's 4-down territory, and good job by Bumgardner really to get away from that first tackle and make this more of a manageable attempt, but it looks like it's going to be about 4th and 3, and they've got 2 tight ends in the game. So we'll see if maybe this is one of those designed runs from Kennedy McGill that they love to use.
Man in motion coming from the left wide out. McGill heading out right with it. Looking to pass. He fires. His man can't get it as the pass is up over his head. The defensive pressure put on by big number 0, Ian Loomis, was just too much. McGill fires a high pass just above the outstretched hands of his receiver, and that is exactly what Loomis has been good for as the year has gone long. Just a pressure factory.
Yeah, I mean, once again, a wide open man downfield that's just overthrown, and they have not let McGill get comfortable. And you have to think it's so difficult as a quarterback to find your guys downfield and set your feet and really deliver it with the solid mechanics you've been trained to use when there's pressure in your face on every play. So credit to the Mountaineers for disrupting McGill so far in the passing game.
And so now here are the Mountaineers snapping it and keeping it. It's going to be the quarterback, Nash. He gets taken down, but not until he regains about 4 yards on the play.
Yeah, so they're running an option play of their own right there, and Nash decides to keep it, but good job for the Cats to swarm there quickly and brings up about 2nd and 7, so a gain of 3 on the play.
What a game it has been so far. I don't know how. I mean, it's crazy because, quite frankly, you look back at what the events of this game have looked like scoring-wise, and it almost felt like that last touchdown didn't even happen. It was so quick. It was, if you blink, you missed it. We'll see what they've got here on 2nd and 7. Snap goes back to Nash. He's going to head out right. Pressure, but he's going to still deliver it to his man. That's a first down and some change.
Yeah, they've been really, really good with the misdirection so far, and on the catch right there, Gabe Shuberth.
They will once again on the Wildcat side of the field now. They will begin their offensive drive with another first. They would sure love to get another touchdown up on the board before the end of this half to go up 2 scores against the Wildcats on their own home field would be not only incredibly beneficial, but also unheard of. Snap going back to Nash. He stops, play action, fires forward. His man just cannot bring it in. You know, they used to tell stories about Dan Marino and how his receivers would go home at night and they would have a big black dot on their chest, and it looks like that might have been the closest example I could give to you. The throw from Nash was perfect in the perfect place, but it was thrown about 97 miles an hour.
Yeah, it looked like it might have been a little bit behind Jace Perez, but yeah, tough to haul that one in. I mean, obviously Perez going to say he should have held on to that football, but you're right, that was a rocket over the middle, and he had the separation. I think if there's a little bit of a better connection there and anticipation, that could be a big play.
So one man in the backfield with Nash on this one. It'll be 2nd and long. Man in motion. Now Nash going to keep it himself. He gets hit, but not until he gains another, say, 3-4 yards. It's like about 3 on the game there. It'll be 3rd and 7.
Yeah, that was Chase Colson coming up from the safety spot to make that tackle right there. Big number 44. Anybody who's not aware, 44 on the Wildcats is passed down to the player that they think exemplifies the Wildcat spirit on defense. Last year, that was Tanner Volk, who led all the NCAA in interceptions and went on to actually go to the Seattle Seahawks rookie mini camp. So he got some reps in the NFL. But now, big shoes to fill for Chase Colson, and he's been a really, really good tackler so far this year. They ask him to do a lot on the defensive side.
So Nash getting ready. 3 receivers out left and a man in motion now as he's going to throw a deep ball down that left side, and that's going to hit the ground. We'll see if they call this a pass interference or not. It may be offensive pass interference here called against DJ Allen.
Yeah, I would say that's got to be the case. Javante Walker was in position, and you saw a full arm extension into him by DJ Allen. We'll see if they call that defensive pass interference. I'd have a hard time believing
you have
that
to
would
imagine
be,
it's offensive.
I'd have a hard time believing that was the call if that's the case. I don't think he impeded the route in any way. They're going to call it on the defense. So,
I mean,
interesting play. Wow. Okay, so
what?
they'll call. I mean, we'll take a look back at it. And
now we take a peek at the replay here.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I mean, he goes out and you see the full extension. I mean, you kind of missed it there, but they throw the flag. I'm not sure I agree with that one.
Yeah,
Ryan. I don't know. I felt like Javante Walker didn't really do anything to impede the route. I thought more, like you said, that Allen was the one who shoved off on him, but the refs didn't see it that way. And
well, the wide receiver stopped running after shoving him to the ground. That's a textbook pass interference on the offense. But one way or another, not the way it's going to be called, and the conviction of the referees is final. So this one going to be handed off now to Bailey, and he's going to get driven out of bounds on that right side. Wow.
Yeah, again, I mean, maybe we missed something there, but regardless, I mean, you had to take a shot there if you were Western Colorado, and we've seen the Wildcats get into a lot of pass interference trouble so far this year, so it's definitely not out of the question for that to have been the case again. But you're right, that's one of the calls that maybe they'll go back and look at and wonder if that went the right way. But we didn't have a great look at it here, so we'll see. I mean, we'll trust the refs' discretion so far.
So Drew Nash in the backfield once again. He's got a running back with him lined up to his left. Now a man in motion coming in front of him. He's going to get the handoff as now making his way and getting taken down. Number 11 ends up with that one in his hands, Ramon Ruiz. And that's going to make for 3rd and long for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, good job by Jalen Owens to get off that block right there on the outside. And the corners for the Wildcats so far having a pretty good night tackling. King Williams had that big stop to bring up a 4th down, and then Jalen Owens there was kind of the last line of defense on that little sweep play there, and I think if he wasn't able to make that tackle, would have had a lot of room to rumble there. So good job. Again, we talked about how good the open field tackling has been for the Cats. You have to think there was an emphasis on that this week in preparation for Western Colorado.
And so now the offensive unit gets going again. An empty backfield for Nash. 3 out left, 2 out right. Here's the snap. He's going to head out right with it. He's going to keep it, and he's going to go all the way. Wow. Just an absolute defensive shutdown from the Wildcats. They can't defend the run like they've ever been able to tonight.
Yeah, we'll catch a replay of that one here in a second, but I mean, there was no way that the Wildcats were expecting that to be the play call right there. They've used Drew Nash in that way many times, but you know, right there, the Wildcats on 3rd and 11 just caught completely unawares. And it's been really good. I mean, give credit to the blocking assignments so far for Western Colorado. They've been opening up huge gaps that you're right, Ryan, we really haven't seen so far against this rushing defense for the Cats, and they've been gashing them with those big chunk plays in the run game. And yeah, that's gonna make it 14-3 after the PAT. Yeah, you can see Nash just. I mean, again, he almost went untouched as well until the end there. He didn't have to do a whole lot of nothing. Those lanes have just been wide open. You could drive a truck through them. But yeah, we'll see what kind of adjustments the Wildcats want to make. Clearly, just kind of caught out of water there on a couple of these run plays.
Yeah, I mean, it's just ended up boiling down to a spot where the Mountaineers can't complete a pass at this point, and what they can do is they can get upfield on a big bunch play, and then they're going to make you hurt with the run game. Wow, what a statement on that drive by the Mountaineers. The Wildcat rushing defense needs to get something together here, because one way or another, as good as the blocking may be on the other end, you got one job and you got to complete it on it. You have to complete on it. All right, one way or another, kickoff coming here from the Mountaineers. 3-14 your score with 5 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in this first half of action. Booted away now from the Mountaineers. And back to the end zone it'll go, but not going to be kneed down. Instead, the Wildcats are going to go down inside their own 10. I mean, just rough looks for Central.
Yeah, that was I don't know if that was the right decision from Featherstone to not just take a knee in the end zone. It looked like the lanes were closing pretty quickly. He gets taken down, and long field to go for the Wildcats, who've struggled to get anything going on offense so far. And like you said, Ryan, I mean, it just the rhythm on the offensive side. I think McGill's he looks flustered back there with the pressure packages that they're bringing, and he's missed a couple wide open guys, but we'll see if they can try to get back to their roots here and maybe establish a bit of a run game.
Well, they're going to need to, Cash. If you don't get a score on this drive, it's going to look a lot worse. And now trying to emulate the same thing they're seeing on the other side of the ball, the difference is one team game planned for a rushing quarterback. It would appear Western Colorado's had Kennedy McGill's number all night long. On the other end, you cannot say the same thing at all.
Yeah, and I think they've been able to contain Drew Nash in the rushing attack for most of the plays they've tried to use him on, but obviously not on the rushing.
Well, I don't know, an average of about 6 yards per carry right now.
Yeah, he
taking away that bunch play.
Yeah, that I would say he's only rushed it a few times, but McGill, they'll try and get him going all game long. They never really turn away from that.
As he's going to head out left with this one, makes a quick short pass, and it's going to get the Wildcats maybe 3 yards.
So yeah, sets up third and manageable. You're just getting the quick dump down to Bumgarner, trying to let your skill guys make some moves after the catch and get forward. And yeah, I think that we might see the Cats kind of adjust here to getting McGill out of the pocket and letting him use his legs to roll out and find guys down the field, and maybe a little more of that quick route concept like we talked about. Pressure's been pretty good on McGill, and credit to the coverage team so far in the secondary for Western Colorado that's been really blanketing these passing concepts so far.
So now McGill ready in the backfield, man behind him, and he's going to take the handoff. Now driving forward, gets tripped up by the foot. If he didn't, that would have been a real big one for the Wildcats. But one way or another, a first down is going to be brought in. So 3-14 your score, 3 minutes, 35 seconds remain in the half, and the Wildcats are rolling down the field. As previously noted, this is a play that they are going to need some success on, or excuse me, a drive that they're going to need some success on. Kennedy McGill in the backfield getting ready. One man out left, one out right. A man behind him, and a whole lot of offensive blockers. Now this one handed off on the drive and getting taken down after about a gain of 2.
Yeah, and I want to give credit to Cade Musser on that last play, the play before this one where he tripped up Bumgarner after he got the first. That was probably a touchdown-saving tackle, Ryan. I think Bumgarner had all the room in the world. If Musser didn't catch his shoelaces, he was trying to get through that hole. He would have been off to the races. There was nobody deeper than Musser was there, so what a play by him. He's really shown up today in a big way for the Mountaineers.
Now the Wildcat offense on 2nd and 6. Snap is to McGill. Stepping back, looking downfield, and he gets sacked. So McGill goes down again, and there is laundry on the field. We'll see what the penalty ends up being.
Yeah, that was Ricky Freeman on the sack, and he just beats his man off the edge. And we have not seen McGill take a whole lot of sacks, especially when he's trying to step up into the pocket, but great move from Freeman. They're going to call this penalty on the defense.
That'll push the Wildcats forward. It looks 10 yards. Whoa, 15 yards.
Yeah, I did not quite catch.
A horse collar ends up being
they call a horse collar tackle, so horse collar on McGill, I would assume. I mean, I honestly thought that when the QB was in the pocket, horse collars were not applicable. That might just be in the NFL, but maybe in college football it's different. But they'll get him there. And Cats get bailed out of a bad situation after the sack, so see if they can make something happen with it.
First down for McGill. Here's the snap. He steps back, searching the field for a man. He will find him, and I mean, just trying to hand it over to the defender on a silver platter, that would be interception. Now, lucky is the Wildcat intended recipient that did not go that way. I mean,
yeah, that was
wow.
Javon Young who was right there, and that was Mason Jurgens, who we finally saw step into the game, just unable to bring that one in. And yeah, you're right. I mean, that almost would have been disastrous for the Cats. It's a good play and good coverage from Young to make Jurgens uncomfortable, but again, I think, maybe needing to get back into game time rhythm as Jurgens, like we said, he missed a whole lot of time for the Cats, and they try to get him involved there on a hitch route.
And so now the 2-minute timeout has come. So we will take 1-2. Be back with you in just a moment. As now the Central Washington Wildcats looking at about a 2nd and 10 situation as Kennedy McGill in the backfield awaiting the snap. There'll be 2 receivers out left, 1 out right. Man in the backfield with them. Motion from the defense here as here's the snap to McGill. He steps back, looking downfield. He's going to take off on his legs. We've seen a whole lot of success from him when he gets to doing this. And Kennedy McGill not going to go down until he reaches the field goal range of the kicker of Central Washington University, David Weber. So it would appear as though as they head to the hurry-up offense, a field goal at the very least is in play.
Yeah, Cameron Cooper just kind of lost contain there on McGill, and he's able to scramble out of the pocket.
McGill now stepping back again. He's going to fire on this one. It gets popped up, and will they say it hit the ground? They will, and yeah, just the Wildcats are so very obviously flustered. It is maybe, I don't know, it is maybe the most different that I've ever seen this team play, but you can feel the nervousness coming from this offense from up here. Obviously a great play by the Mountaineer defense to get up there and get a hand on that ball, but
yeah, that was the guy I mentioned earlier, Cameron Cooper, I think, who gets up and blocks that one down. Musser dives out for the interception, but unable to get it, and the Wildcats will stay alive.
So now Kennedy McGill awaiting the snap. They are taking all the time that they've got. As here's McGill, he's looking out right, fires and hits his man, and where did he go out? Justice Taylor did make the catch and got about 3 yards, it would appear. So call it third and 6 if you're being a little bit liberal towards the offensive team. Buck 29 remaining in this first half of action. It has been a rough one for the home team as these stands are packed at Steve Hertling Field at Tomlinson Stadium. Kennedy McGill in the backfield. He'll be joined by Justice Taylor. He's got Malloy, the tight end, as an extra blocker on the left side, as well as 2 receivers there, 1 on the near side. Snap is back to McGill, looking forward. He steps back, fires. He's got a man. He's got a spot, but he does not have a connection. Instead, the Wildcats are going to be forced to settle for a 4th down field goal if they're able to get it. Out comes David Weber as the disappointing offensive production from the Wildcats so far continues.
Yeah, and again, that one's just a little bit too far in front of Logan Brady. McGill having a bit of trouble connecting with his guys downfield so far today, and that's another one that just kind of goes awry there. Logan Brady might have had a step on him. It would have been a great catch and throw, but here's Weber for another long field goal.
As he's going to put that one up, and it is no good. Central Washington in absolute peril. Just a awful second quarter for CWU as they look as though they're going to need this to be a very poor offensive drive from the Mountaineers in order to keep some sort of hope heading into half.
Yeah, and it looked like they actually might have got a hand on that one,
Absolutely,
I think, on this kick. Yeah, we'll look, and yeah, they do get a hand on it, so credit to the special teams of Western Colorado for doing that. I think, I mean, it had the accuracy, I think, and Weber obviously has got the leg to get it to go from there, but I mean, a huge play. I mean, that keeps it a 2-score game. It would have only been an 8-point contest if that one went through, and now Western Colorado with a chance to give themselves a little more cushion going into half. The Wildcats have to be shocked right now.
So Drew Nash in the backfield. He's going to take the snap. He's going to step back and flip it in front of himself to his running back. So that'll be Bailey who received the quick flip. We'll see if Western Colorado comes out in more of a hurry-up offense as they want to manage the clock well here. Like you said, Cash, if you can get into field goal range, at the very least, you're looking pretty good. Nash going to take the snap, steps back, firing in front of himself. That's going to be a first down, and he'll get out of bounds.
Yeah, Victory David with the catch there, right at the sticks, and a good throw from Nash with good anticipation on that play before. Lloydhammer getting into the backfield and stopping that. But, yeah, that's just a textbook route right at the sticks and gets out of bounds, like you said, stop the clock and give them a little more time to work with. They're almost at midfield already.
So 50 seconds remaining in this first half of action. Drew Nash getting ready for the snap. He's got 2 receivers on either side. Snap. Here's the toss. He gets brought down as he gets littered to the ball. It's picked off by the Wildcats. Does he have the room? He does! And CWU gonna turn that around at the end of the first half. Central Washington in front of the home crowd with a pick 6 on a great defensive play.
Yeah, and that's going to be Kuma Scanlon on the pick 6, and you see just the pressure from Lloydhammer knocks that one out. Scanlon able to just be in the right place at the right time, and he is off to the races. That is a massive play for CWU, who have find themselves right back into this game before half. I mean, yeah, the pressure from Lloydhammer to force that one. He got into the backfield almost instantly, and then Scanlon just doing the rest of the work.
And you can all but feel the energy in this stadium mounting as the kick is up, the kick is good, and within 4 points is Central Washington. Now Western Colorado back on their heels a little bit. Cash, that's only the 5th interception thrown by Drew Nash all year.
Yeah, and I mean, hard to blame Nash for that one as he's hit as he throws,
wow.
But I really think that play, I mean, obviously great play by Kuma Scanlon to take that one and have the awareness to bring it all the way back. But, I mean, I tell you what, Chase Lloydhammer was in that backfield instantly and just, yeah, he just clobbers Nash on that throw, and that one goes to Ryan. I mean, I tell you what, Ryan, we've seen the Wildcats defense really get them out of some tough situations when the offense is kind of failing to find some rhythm. So to just bring this one back within a one-score game for the Cats is huge before halftime. And what a nightmare play for the Mountaineers right there, who are just trying to kind of take this thing into half with a nice, comfortable lead. That's cut down already after I mean, what a play by the Wildcats on that one.
I mean, hey, there's a reason why both of the men that were playmakers on that play ended up first team all-conference in the LSC. Wow, I mean, that's a heart rate spiker if I've ever seen one. Now CWU gets ready to boot it back over to Western Colorado. Cash, I didn't think that there was any opportunity for the Wildcats to pad anything else on before the end of the half.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Mountaineers did either. That's obviously
the beauty of football, is it not?
Who knows? Oh, goodness.
And so taken down very early on the kickoff return is going to be the man. And they're going to throw a flag, so this is looking like it might be Central Washington taunting or unsportsmanlike conduct after the play is over with. A penalty that's already been called tonight. If that's the case, then somebody's got to reel them in and get them calmed down, because you cannot have penalties like that on this stage.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell. It looked like that might have been Ryder Bumgarner in on the big hit. So they'll call a blow to the head on that one by Logan Lischernis, linebacker who was doubling on special teams on that one. And
here's the replay that you got.
26,
As
sorry,
now coming
correction
in
there.
and just getting, I mean, you can't really.
Jeez. Well, High Emsley's going to be guilty of the blow to the head there. And
Wow.
give the Mountaineers a little bit more cushion after the huge hit on the kickoff return.
Right. And so now Drew Nash and the Mountaineer offense back out on the field as they look to recover from what was a very unfortunate last play. This one going to be handed off, as you would have to imagine, thinking a little bit more conservative on this drive after trying to go deep that last time out, giving up the touchdown, the only one scored by the Wildcats here tonight, and they're going to let this clock continue to run. Interesting to see if they're going to go out for another play or if they're just going to let it dribble out.
You'd have to imagine let it dribble out and just take this one to half after the disastrous play before that, and Mikhail Edward there on the quick shed to take him down. That'll bring it to half. So the Wildcats finding a bit of life right before halftime with the huge pick six off the hit from Lloydhammer, and Kuma Scanlon going to get himself 6 points.
Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, a great first half of action here from Steve Hertling Field at Tomlinson Stadium is done and over with. We're going to send it off to our halftime break. When we return with you, we will have a little bit of a recap of what happened throughout that first half, as well as the second half of action here from Tomlinson Stadium. Folks, we will be back in just a bit. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the broadcast here on ESPN Plus from Steve Hertling Field at Tomlinson Stadium. I am Ryan Gildersleeve, your play-by-play broadcaster for tonight's action, alongside Cash Brown on color commentary, as we get ready to detail for you the second half of what has been an incredible matchup so far between the Central Washington Wildcats and the visiting Western Colorado Mountaineers. It has been a great matchup up until this point. 10-14, your current score as the Central Washington squad is down 4. But it was a very treacherous situation right before the end of the first half with less than a minute to go. An interception by the Wildcat defense, more specifically Kuma Scanlon, will send him to the end zone, will give the Wildcats 7 points, and will bring this to within a one-score game. Cash, you've got the stats from that first half. What did you see that made this a different matchup than what we've seen all year long?
Yeah, well, I mean, you look at the stats, and you look at Quinn Bailey with 6 carries for 62 yards and Drew Nash, 6 carries for 52 yards, and you think, okay, so they've been doing pretty good on the ground. Both of those came from massive chunk plays. So overall, I think the Wildcats have done a really good job of containing the rushing attack of Western Colorado. They've also kept Drew Nash pretty uncomfortable. We've seen pressure on him. We said that might be something that the Wildcats see success with. They've held him to under 50% completion rating total between the two quarterbacks. Obviously, Josiah Roy threw one on the first drive that went incomplete, but Drew Nash is only 6 for 12 with the one pick that came off he was hit as he threw. So, you know, you can't necessarily say that that was fully on Nash. The pressure got there almost instantly for that pick 6. But, yeah, I think overall they've been doing a really good job of containing the rushing attack and really containing this Western Colorado offense, save for those 2 big chunk plays where, I mean, on one of them, Drew Nash basically going untouched into the end zone and Quinn Bailey going untouched into the end zone as well. So I think you can say the same thing on the other side of the script, though, and that they've done a pretty good job, Western Colorado has, of containing this dynamic rushing attack from the Wildcats. McGill hasn't really been able to get too much going. One of his big gains, I mean, he's carried the ball 5 times for 44 yards, but one of his big gains and where most of those yards came from was on a scramble during a pass play where he just was able to break contain. But Justice Taylor, 4 carries for 22 yards, and then Bo Phillips, 3 carries for 15 yards. Bumgarner, 4 carries for 15 yards. So they've been rotating these guys in and out. It's pretty much been an even spread across the board in terms of who they're giving the ball to. I think they want to keep those legs fresh heading into the second half, and we've seen their rushing attack get off to a slow start. We'll see if they can get it going here as they're set to receive the kickoff. So if the Wildcats can get out there and score a touchdown and take the lead here and really shift momentum, got to think that they had some halftime adjustments, maybe with blocking assignments, and probably more so on the defensive side as this one's getting booted away.
And so the kick is off. Just like that, the second half has begun. The Wildcats bringing this one back. A gap for a slight moment seemed to be open, but it closed quickly, and it will swallow up the Wildcat return man with it. Looked like it was Featherstone on that one.
Yeah, and it looked like it on the tackle was Damian Neville. So running back getting in there for the hit.
Wow, isn't that something? Now, ladies and gentlemen, it will be the Wildcat offense retaking the field here in front of their home Ellensburg crowd. Folks, it is packed here at Tomlinson Stadium tonight as the Wildcats look to continue on what has been a tear against Western Colorado. Here's the fake handoff. McGill now in play action. He's going to throw a pass right up the right side, and that's going to be a big play. And keeping going is Justice Taylor, not going down until about the 11-yard line. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, talk about starting off the second half strong. You know, Cash, there might have been a different blocking adjustment.
Yeah, well, you know, maybe not necessarily on the long throw, but yeah, that's Taylor coming out of the backfield on a wheel route, and he just beats his man down the sideline. McGill finally with the right amount of touch on that one, and he settled down at halftime, it looks like, and they said, look, Kennedy, you just got to be putting the ball on the guys. They've been wide open, so finally making one count there, and Justice Taylor with a huge gain to start things off here. Now the Cats in the red zone.
So now Kennedy, McGill, and CWU getting ready for this second play of the drive. This one going to be handed off for a quick, maybe get back to the line of scrimmage play. Didn't look like he got too much further.
No, Cameron Cooper's going to get in on that tackle, who's had himself a really good game so far on the defensive line. He had the the tip earlier that almost resulted in an interception, and he's just been really disruptive in the middle. He's playing sort of that outside linebacker spot. Cameron Cooper is, and in this 3-4 defense, you got to be able to do it all, and he's certainly shown that tonight as he wraps up Justice Taylor for no gain.
So now 2nd and 9. Man's going to move up to the left side of McGill. Snap is going to go to that man, as now driving forward and right into the end zone for CWU is going to be Justice Taylor. The Wildcats take the lead with less than 2 minutes off the clock in the second half.
Yeah, and maybe those are the blocking assignments I was talking about, is finally there's some room open there, and they just push guys off the line. Justice Taylor having a pretty easy way into the end zone, and the Wildcats getting back to basics here with the rollout games and the rushing attack, and finally seeing a little bit of momentum from this offense.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Cash, I think what we're seeing here is a great adjustment by CWU at halftime. I'll tell you what I think the conversation had to have looked like. Hey, listen, Kennedy McGill is getting shut down all night. They're obviously targeting him. They know that that's where our offensive production is going to come from. So you know what? They want to target Kennedy McGill. Let's play a more traditional offense. Let's hand the ball off. Let's move the rock on the ground. It got him 7 points there, so you really can't argue with it. With 13-17 remaining in the third quarter of action, first round of the D2 playoffs between Central Washington and Western Colorado. Your current score, 17-14, CWU on top.
Yeah, and I'd be surprised to see what Western Colorado maybe wants to do coming out of this half. We really haven't seen them be too aggressive at spreading the ball out on all levels of the field, maybe getting some short and intermediate routes going. You really want to try and stress. I mean, it looks like so far, from what I've seen, the Wildcats look like they're playing a lot of man coverage. They've been sending blitz packages all night, trying to make Drew Nash uncomfortable. If you're going to try and get the ball out quickly, which they've definitely been doing on a lot of design screen plays or quick checkdowns or quick out routes, I think that they need to try and really spread this defense out for the Wildcats and force the ball out early and just trust your receivers who've been so productive so far. We've hardly seen anything from Caden Meisner so far, who's been their number one wide receiver. So we'll see if they try and get their playmakers on the passing side of the ball a little more involved here as that one rolls out of the end zone.
And as you said, it'll roll out through the back, and so the Mountaineers going to start off about as far back as they would have expected. Now, Cash, you have to wonder what the offensive adjustments for the Mountaineers look like as they come out of the halftime break. It has been a truly intriguing way to watch this game here from the booth.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, and I think both these defenses have done a really good job of kind of shutting down what the other offense really wants to do, and they've kind of been imposing their will, so we'll see if they can get back to basics just like the Wildcats did.
So 2 receivers out left, 1 out right. Man now in motion's going to join him on that left side tight. Now, the faked handoff. And this is a different quarterback than Drew Nash. He goes down on the right side.
Josiah Roy, who was in there earlier, they seem to be kind of using him on those design QB runs, but Nash back in the game already. Roy, obviously he threw one earlier, but clearly they want to have him take the brunt of the workload in the rushing attack maybe.
So now, once again, it's the Mountaineers ready to go. It'll be 2nd and about 7. Nash in the backfield, getting ready. 3 out left, 1 out right. Running back with him in the backfield. Snap to him. Nash going to take off on this one, and Nash going to get taken down, but not before he makes it to the line to gain, it would appear.
That's Josiah Roy again.
Yeah.
Who they bring in. So Nash has just been kind of standing on the outside, letting them run a bit of this, not a Wildcat offense because he's listed as a QB, but Josiah Roy finally checks out of the game, and it's Nash here on this 3rd and 1.
Wow. So, yeah, like you said, Cash, 3rd and 1. They did get just about to the line to gain, but not enough, honestly.
Yeah, heavy set here for Western Colorado. They got 2 tight ends in the game.
And we'll see if the rushing defense is enough to keep them from the first down. CWU getting ready. And no, that is an easy first down gain. Another QB run.
Yep, just a QB power play right up the middle. And just trusting your guys at the line of scrimmage to move back the Wildcats enough to get that there. And, yeah, Nash Nash easily gets that first down, and see if the Wildcats try and tighten up here. Again, Nash, I mean, aside from the one play, they've done a pretty good job of containing him as a runner. But right there, obviously not enough on the 3rd and 1.
So now, once again, the Mountaineers with a first down to try and drive their way down the field. Man's going to hop to the other side of Nash. Now he's going to take the handoff, and it's going to go just about nowhere. Goes down at the line of scrimmage, or maybe even a step behind it. I'll say right at the line of scrimmage on that.
Yeah, they'll try and get Quinn Bailey going here on the, looked like almost like an inside zone play right there. And that one not going to go anywhere as the Wildcats defense just as good as Western Colorado's in being disruptive on that front. Right there they do it. Now Nash will be in the empty.
Yeah, he's got 2 men out right, 3 out left. Now there's going to have 2 men trade. Now an extra blocker on the left side and a running back with him. Nash awaiting the snap. Here it comes. Steps back. Now firing immediately across the middle. That one going to be incomplete. Goes straight to the ground, and now 3rd and long.
Yeah, good job by Jalen Weber to hang in there in coverage. Victory David unable to haul that one in, and that's sort of more of that maybe dagger into the zone type of thing that we were talking about, seeing them try to attack different levels of the field. They try and do it here, but this one just a little off rhythm, and Jalen Weber was able to make Victory David feel uncomfortable, and that one falls incomplete. So Nash just still unable to get into a solid rhythm here. He's been so efficient as a quarterback passing, but the Wildcats have done a good job of keeping him contained so far today.
And so now Nash steps back, looking out left. He's really looking out left. He goes down, but there is a flag on the play. We'll see what it is. A chop block is what's being signified to me here in the booth. We'll see if that holds up.
Yeah, that was Lino Masuno in on the sack. He's been really, really kind of an underappreciated part of this defensive line for the Wildcats.
Wow.
And they will say the chop block, so that one will be declined with haste, and Wildcat pressure finally getting home. So a good play there by Lino just to get into the backfield, and Nash was instantly under pressure.
So here's the replay now. You see him come around, and wow, yeah, the chop block definitely got him on the outside.
Yeah, what a spin move, though, by Lino Masuno to get into the backfield. He just beat his man straight up on the inside and spun the right way and is able to get in there for the sack.
So about 4th and 20 for the Mountaineers, and the punt team is out and ready to go. Booted away, and this one's got some legs under it. Wow, a really good punt for him. Now the return team is going to, again, just kind of get smoked, as that's going to be a behind the 25 start for Central Washington on their next offensive drive here.
Yeah, so the Wildcats with some good pressure there again. Masunu with the sack, and we were wondering really, Ryan, when maybe this Wildcat defensive line was going to start looking like their old selves, and they came out of half with a vengeance. We've seen them trailing at halves a few times so far this season, but they've come out with some really good adjustments in each of those games. That seems to be the case here again. We'll see if they can keep the momentum going on offense.
Now here's Kennedy McGill. He's going to fire this one out to his right. Now the man's going to make his way forward, take a big hit up around the shoulders, but he will go down after gaining about, say, 7-8 yards, it looked like.
Yeah, not sure if that was a designed pass there, or if that was maybe more of an RPO look for Kennedy McGill. So they'll call that a first down. They'll move the sticks, so Jalen Grable gets enough for the first down.
Great play there by Grable, who has been a pretty consistent piece of this Wildcat offense as the year has gone long. Now, the Wildcat offense, of course, referring to the Central Washington Wildcat offensive team, not the Wildcat offensive set, as now McGill with 2 running backs to either side of himself and 1 behind him. He's got a receiver on either side. McGill's going to hand this one off, and still fighting in the backfield, but to no avail are going to be the Cats, as that's going to be a loss of about 1 or 2, it looks like. Actually, it might be more. There's a Wildcat down and not looking great on the field. Medical team makes their way on out there. And it appears as though we're going to take a moment to check on the health of this player that is down on the field as it stands. We will take a break and be back with you in just a moment. 88 won the Berg, or one way or another, folks. ESPN Plus, we are back here on the, we're here back on the broadcast after what was a quick break to ensure that a downed lineman was not going to be out consistently. Slade Edwards went down on the play, so not sure if he is currently the one with the ball in his hand, but one way or another, a snap is going to go back to Kennedy McGill. Folks, what a day it has been. As Kennedy McGill's going to keep this one, he's going to drive forward, and he's going to find himself in very positive yardage after that.
Yeah, and finally kind of seeing this option offense open up for the Cats. And, yeah, like you said, Slade
Slade's
Edwards
back.
trotting back out on the field. There's going to be a big sigh of relief here in Thompson. He is invaluable to this offensive line. And Slade Edwards, who was listed as one of the top 100 players in all of D2, made first team all-conference in the LSC as a center. He is just really holding this line together, and good to see him back out after the apparent injury. But clearly he's fine and ready to head back into the game.
A good job by Brady Holland to fill in on that one play there. Made a good block to keep that an open lane, as now McGill's going to hand it off. The Wildcat running back's going to go forward. He's going to lose a man. Now he's going to bind himself down around the 30-yard line. CWU's rushing attack is back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's Bo Phillips on the carry, and finally we're seeing some of these holes open up right off the bat, and Bo Phillips just using his speed to cut in there and get up for a large gain. Yeah, you'll see here just on the handoff, just splitting up, untouched until he gets all the way down to about the 35.
Wow.
So great work from the offensive line and all the blockers involved for Central to really start opening up this run game. And
fighting for those extra yards so efficiently go the Wildcat running backs. One way or another, let's see what they got on this one. McGill back there with two running backs. He's going to fake it to both. Now the play action, scrolling out right. Now he looks like he wants to keep it. He takes a hit, but he gets past it. Now he gets forward, and that could be about 5 yards gained.
Yeah, so Kennedy McGill just decided not to throw that one. He tucks it down and gets what the defense has given him after a shifty little move there. Again, I mean, on these rollouts, though, I mean, again, credit to the secondary of the Mountaineers. There just really hasn't been a whole lot open in the passing game on those rollouts for the most part. Obviously, there's been a couple of big chunk plays, but they've done a good job of forcing McGill to tuck that one down and just get a couple yards a few times on this game already.
So Kennedy McGill in the backfield for CWU and the Wildcats. He's got one running back to his left, three receivers out in that same direction. Snap back to McGill. He's going to hand it off, driving forward and finding not a lot of success as the Wildcat running back there, as it would appear as though that one was put into the hands of Ryder Bumgardner. It's been a quiet day from him so far.
Yeah, he only had 4 carries in the first half for just a handful of yards, only 15 in the first half, so 13 netted. He lost 2 on one of the plays, but he'll get a little more there, and it's third and very manageable for the Wildcats as they once again find themselves on the edge of the red zone and see if maybe they want to hit something with play action here. If it's 4-down territory, we may very well see them run this football.
So back in that formation with the one running back to either side and a man behind him. He's got a receiver on either end and a 5-man offensive line. Now a man in motion heading out left. Snap to McGill. He's going to hand it off, and the running attack not going to be the answer they were looking for there. Ball gets out, but it's after the whistle. And with CWU in scoring range through the air, you'd have to imagine the Swiss kicker going to make his way out to boot it through.
Yeah, Ricky Fremont in there to make the tackle. He gets a quick shed there on that play and swallows up Bumgardner. And yeah, they'll say that. But again, another long. This one will be 40+ as well, I think, for Weber, who had one blocked earlier, but he also made one from about 46. This one looks like it might be about a 41-yard field goal.
So we'll see if he's got the boot in him. That one is up. That one is good. Central adds another 3 on, and just like that, 20-14 your score. CWU leading it. They are yet to give up another score since early in the second quarter.
Yeah, and I think, credit to the defensive adjustments made on the fly by this coaching staff, but obviously Western Colorado is so dangerous, and we just really have yet, Ryan, to see them establish much of an air raid attack, and they've just been a little out of rhythm, I think. They've had some opportunities and some open guys where a ball was either just a little behind them or a little too low or maybe just off the hands, but they need to find some consistency in this passing game because you are in for a rough night if all you can try and muster against the Wildcats is a rushing attack. They've been just so stout. I mean, we've said it all night, but they've been so stout against the run all year. And I don't know. I mean, I think you really have to try and find some consistency and find a way to get Drew Nash comfortable and into rhythm back there because they have been struggling tonight to get that going.
Cash, can we just talk for a second about how important David Weber is to Central Washington University?
Easily the unsung hero of the team, I think. And, you know, as far as I've seen, at least in the teams that Central has played or, you know, looking on the stat sheet anywhere else, I mean, he seems to be one of the better kickers in all of D2 with the way he's been playing. He's just been so efficient and
such a great range.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like he really misses all that much.
No.
Ryan. I mean, it's been pretty awesome.
So a fair catch on the kickoff is going to leave the Mountaineer offense back around their own 10-yard line.
And again, curious to see.
That's absolutely not true. At their 25-yard line, I don't know what I was thinking there. As one way or another, we get back into it. Cash, you were saying.
Honestly, I don't remember. But I think I was going to say something about I'm curious if, I mean, obviously you don't want to turn Foley away from the rushing attack. If you're the Mountaineers, you want to keep that in your back pocket. It's worked, you know, on a couple of big places where they've got their touchdowns from, but the passing game can start making this offense more dynamic.
So now here's Nash. He's going to head out left with it, fire a bullet in front of himself. Is the catch made? They will say it.
It will. Yeah,
wow.
It will be caught. That's a great catch by Caden Meisner, and what a throw from Drew Nash. I mean, like we said, try and find some creative ways to get him out of the pocket and kind of evade this Wildcat pressure that's been so prominent tonight. And, yeah, finally a bit of Drew Nash and Caden Meisner, which we talked about. He hadn't been very involved in the first half. He gets a big one there.
And so now a man faking the motion. He's going to go back to his spot. Nash going to hand that one off, and that's not going to go very much of anywhere, as just continuing to get pushed back. Forward progress is noted, but only about a yard or two.
Yeah, Chase Colson again looks like he fires up from the safety spot and gets a tackle there. And Chase Colson, I mean, he just fits the run so well. It's exactly what you need to do is, you know, that kind of strong free safety prototype that the Wildcats want you to run, that number 44. You just got to be so smart and ready to do everything, and he has definitely been that for the Cats this year.
So about 2nd and 8 for the Mountaineers. In the backfield is Bailey and Nash. Drew Nash getting ready for it. Snap now coming. 3 receivers out right. Fakes the handoff. Now play action, but he's going to get dragged down to the floor.
Oh.
Takes a big hit late. Kind of got folded forward, but he does get back up.
Yeah, Caden Meisner right there called for somebody to come in. It looked like he was hobbling, but I think that Nash wanted him up the seam right there. You'll see he almost lets it rip, but decides to pull it down as the Wildcats were converging on it in the middle of the field and takes the sack. And now you set up about a 3rd and 6 here. And they've been okay on 3rd down so far.
3 minutes, 20 seconds remaining.
I lied. They're 1 of 5 on 3rd down so far.
As now a motion man heads out right, gives him another blocker. Nash has 3 receivers on the field. He's going to head out right, or he's going to hand it off. I didn't even see the delivery, but wow, another big run is going to lead Quinn Bailey to about maybe 20, 30 yards for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, and that's an incredible play design right there as Nash just gives off the little shovel pass right there to Quinn Bailey, and they had everybody fooled. They had the whole defense flowing the other way, and then yeah, you just hit the little pitch forward to Bailey and let him work up the sideline. Good awareness by Brett McCullough at least to get over there and save a touchdown. But yeah, that's an excellent play call, and that's kind of the stuff you're going to have to bring out of the hat if you want to move the ball against the Wildcats.
And so now here they are once more. Nash awaiting the snap. Here it comes. Fakes the handoff. Firing deep down the right side for the end zone. And he just barely can't reel it in. Yeah. A good try from a good toss. Wow.
Yeah, what a play by Jalen Owens in coverage right there, it looked like. And yeah, wow.
as that toss was just buried there at the perfect spot in the end zone. I mean, like you said, Cash, just great defense played on that one. The anticipation that's required in order to get up and get that ball onto the ground instead of in the hands of one of the Mountaineers was very good, very good. As now Drew Nash in the backfield, getting ready for the snap once more. He sends a man in motion out right. Here's the snap, makes the toss to his man in Bailey. Bailey going to fire forward on the right side, and he will go out of bounds, but not before getting the first down for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, and there's that quick passing game we were talking about, getting it out of Nash's hands early and letting your guys kind of work upfield. The Wildcats been pretty good at the open field tackling so far. Not the case right there, as they couldn't get off their blocks, and that's an easy first down for Quinn Bailey and the Mountaineers as they now find themselves in the red zone looking to storm back and take the lead here.
And they've got a good opportunity to do it, Cash. $1:55 remains in the third quarter of action. 20-14 the score. A touchdown gives you the lead, though only by one. Drew Nash getting ready for it. Two receivers out left, one out right. The right man in motion. Now, snap is a fake handoff. Now the toss is going to go to the flat, basically, as wow, number 11 losing a number of men. Ramon Ruiz for the Mountaineers. He loses a number of Wildcats. There's a Wildcat injured on the field. Referees blow whistles. And an injured player timeout is going to be called. So we'll take one, too, and be back with you in just a moment here on the ESPN Plus broadcast. ESPN Plus, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Gildersleeve here on play-by-play on play-by-play commentary alongside Cash on color commentary. I can't speak.
Spit it out.
I mean, just what a emotional situation in front of our eyes right now. The Mountaineers ready to get this one pushed into the end zone. They've got a chance to do it here on first down. Man in motion from the slot. Moving closer. Nash heading out right. A man chasing him down. He's got multiple throws to his receiver. The ball goes out of bounds, and they're just unable to connect on the run.
Yeah, he was looking for Ruiz right there, who was actually open for a little bit longer than I think Nash realized, as the kind of the rub concept worked there, and he found himself open, and just a little bit late to find him was Nash, and out of the reach of Ruiz.
So they're going to make their way back out onto the field. Three receivers out right, one out left. Nash has one running back with him in the backfield. A five-man line. Nash awaits. 8 seconds on the clock. 3. Snap is to him. Now he's going to go for the power play, and they sniff him out. But how many yards was he able to get? Whatever it is, it'll be third and that.
Looks like they're going to say he didn't really get forward for a whole lot. They're going to mark him to about the 3-yard line. So the Cats doing a good job of stopping that QB power play, like you said, Ryan. And now you bring up third down here. You got to think it's definitely 4-down territory when you're this close.
Absolutely.
So the Cats going to have to make a pretty electric stand if they want to keep this one in their favor. And obviously, you got to make the extra point if you're the Mountaineers, but a touchdown here and taking the lead as we are in the waning moments of the third quarter would be huge here.
They're going to get this play and just about nothing else in the third, as now Nash going to stop, send it back to his man on the left. Does he have the space? And he's in. It's a touchdown for the Mountaineers. They tie it up with the first 6. The PAT would be the tiebreaker, and the Mountaineers have made it a game once more here in the final stages of the third quarter.
Yeah, and Ruiz right there comes in motion, and he just catches Jalen Clay in a rough spot and just unable to get back out after the motion. He kicked it back out to the way he was coming from, and easy touchdown there for the Mountaineers.
As that one booted up and through, and just like that, Western Colorado has retaken the lead.
Yeah, on that play, Ruiz started on the outside, and then he comes back in on that motion concept and just beats Jalen Clay with his speed to the outside and takes him down. So a really good play call right there. You got the Wildcats out in a heavy set and had the one-on-one that you wanted on the outside, and Ruiz, big name on that drive.
So watching a potential matchup that will come into play against this one in the future. Texas, Permian Basin, going up against CSU Pueblo right now in the first round of this very same tournament. It is Permian Basin leading 30-17 over Pueblo with 7 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter of action. So it could be an LSC slobber knocker in the next round, if you will, Cash. But first, we're going to need to see one heck of a comeback out of the Cats.
Yeah, and I mean, Pueblo is a team that Western Colorado knows all too well. They were one of the teams that beat them in their 2 losses on the season. And again, obviously, if you're the Mountaineers right now in the driver's seat, you're a Mountaineers fan listening at home, curious to see if, I believe, they would play either Pueblo or Permian Basin, depending on who wins this game. But
as that ball is going to go out the back of the end zone and will lead to the Wildcats taking their first snaps of this drive and, well, their first snap of the fourth quarter eventually from the 25.
Yeah, only 11 seconds. They'll probably get one playoff before
Right.
this one heads into the fourth quarter, and then that's where it's all decided. And tell you what, Ryan, 2 teams that are just in a back and forth matchup. I mean, you have to think if you're a player or a coach right now, just mentally exhausted with the chess match that's going on between these 2 teams right now. Fisk had nothing but good things to say about the coaching staff of Western Colorado and how good they are, and so we're seeing that on display here so far today.
The rubber match, as Coach Fisk described it. As here's McGill. He's going to drive out right. He's going to keep the ball in his hands, but he's going to go down just tripping on his own legs, it looked like from our view. Not sure exactly if somebody got in there to bring him down, but that will finish out the third quarter of action. Folks, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, we will have the fourth and final quarter of play from Tomlinson Stadium. ESPN Plus broadcast is back with you here on, well, ESPN Plus. Ryan Gildersleeve here alongside Cash Brown on play-by-play and color commentary, specifically, exclusively, respectively, whatever it is.
You
that
throw
you'd like
out
to
a
say.
different one every time.
I
I'm
mean,
curious if you'll.
You know,
I feel like respectively would
is
be
the absolutely
is
the
is
correct
definitely
term,
the one
yeah.
to say.
You know,
Yeah.
Cash, at this point, I am sitting here. It feels a grand total of 29.5 degrees in my body.
Yeah,
Um,
it is chilly here in the booth in Ellensburg.
And you know what? It doesn't help that the brain is struggling as well. One way or another, the Wildcats are back out on the field. 2nd and 6 here. It's Kennedy McGill, the 2 running backs in the backfield with him. He's got a man in motion that's going to park in the slot on the left side. Now McGill going to step back, play action, letting it go, showing off the arm, drop it into the hands, and down he goes around the 25. A 50-yarder by Kennedy McGill, and Central Washington University parks themselves right down at the same spot on the other side of the field. Wow!
What a throw from McGill, who gets hammered as he tosses that, but rolling to his weak side, able to get that one in the breadbasket of Bo Phillips. And they have been really doing a great job of getting those running backs open out of the backfield. They've just been beating those linebackers down the field. Not exactly sure who was in coverage on that one. I didn't get a chance to see, but wow, what a throw from McGill, who struggled to have that touch today. He seems to have it back, and that is an incredibly difficult throw to make on the run.
So now McGill with 2 running backs in the backfield to either side, one behind him, Man heading out right. McGill's going to head that direction. He's going to fire. This one goes out of bounds, but wow, what a play that was. The play action worked to perfection. About a 50-yard dime from McGill. Drops right into the hands of his man. And wow, Cash, isn't that something?
That was incredible. And right there on that last play, it looked like they tried to take a shot to the end zone. They sent Grable and I think Featherstone to the end zone on either side, and McGill just neither of those were open. So good job by the Mountaineers secondary.
Yeah, Bo Phillips was the man. As now McGill running back to his right. He's got some extra support on the left. Here's Phillips in motion. Phillips is going to take the handoff, and he is going to lose the football, and Western Colorado regains it on the sloppiest play that could have possibly taken place. Central Washington University with a hot end of the barrel. They just shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, that was Cameron Cooper, who we've talked about so much tonight, having a great game. He forces the fumble right there, just sheds the block, and wow, what a great open field tackle and a way to strip that ball out of the hands of Bo Phillips. And yeah, Ryan, I mean, geez, talk about having all the momentum and then just shifting it away. The Wildcats have struggled these last couple of games to keep the ball in the hands of the offense. A couple of bad turnovers, and right there, way to respond. And man, I tell you what, Cameron Cooper is having himself one heck of a game so far for Western Colorado.
So the Mountaineers now back out on offense. Drew Nash awaiting the snap. Here it comes. He steps back, looking out left. He's going to fire that direction, and the ball comes out. But, geez, just a cannon strapped to the shoulder of Drew Nash.
Yeah, he does. I mean, that one a little too low, I think, for the outstretched arms of Ruiz on there as they're trying to hit the out route. I thought he might have had his guy on a little, it looked like almost a post route up the seam. I thought he might have had him on that one too, but decides to go to Ruiz and, just falls incomplete. We've talked about a little uncharacteristically almost, it feels like, for Nash. A couple of these balls just not finding him. The anticipation and the accuracy that he's been so prominent with have just been a couple plays where he's just missed his guy.
And so two receivers will be deep out right. Now a man in motion joining them. Nash going to take it and keep it, but he is not going to get very far. He'll lose it in his own backfield, and it'll be 3rd and deep.
And that's Kuma Scanlon out there on the outside with great contain on Nash. He tries to bust it out, and Kuma Scanlon there to wrap him up, and it brings up 3rd and long here now.
Yeah, just doing a great job of going and finding his man and sniffing him out on that as we watched the replay. Now on the field, it will be a 3rd and about 11 yards situation for Western Colorado. Cash, the Mountaineers did a great job of keeping their hearts in line, if you will, with that last fumble forced. Just a heartbreaker for the Wildcat faithful.
Yeah, CWU with a chance to have a big defensive play here. Whoa. Looked like there might have been a little bit of a pre-snap move there, maybe a false start, or they'll say somebody got into the neutral zone. I'm not sure. There was a shift at the D-line.
Western Colorado pointing towards Central. Central pointing back. It would look as though the home team had it right this time.
Yep, false start. It'll set them back, so 3rd and even longer, and the Wildcat defense with a chance to hold them to a 3-and-out after the turnover, which you got to think you were hoping to capitalize a little more on that if you were Western Colorado, but still a chance here. 3rd and long. We'll see if the Cats try and play just kind of some prevent defense at the sticks and get this ball back into the hands of their offense. But, again, a chance for the Wildcat defense to make a huge stand here.
Wow.
And it looks like there's some more discussion going on.
It would appear as such.
Quickly resorted. Resolved.
Resorted.
Yeah, I mean, we're the wrong words up here today, Ryan.
I mean, it's just, this is like watching my brain's words be used to play bananagrams, man. It's just not right. There's 3 receivers out right, 1 man out left. A running back in the backfield with Nash. Nash awaiting the snap. 3rd and 16. Here it is. He's going to step back. Play action. Looking forward. Fires. Gets his man. And the first down. Western Colorado drags themselves to another first as Central Washington can't get out of their own way.
Yeah, and Caden Meisner just runs this crosser route and just beats his man over the middle. And Meisner, who we hadn't seen get a whole lot of, he just beats him over the face. And Meisner, who, like we said, was quiet in the first half, made a couple of big plays here, and that's an excellent third down conversion that has to have the Wildcats scratching their heads.
1st and 10 now for the Mountaineers once more. Snap is back to Nash. He fakes it. Play action. Looking deep. Firing across the middle. And this one is incomplete. Boy, is this a shootout that I love to watch.
Yeah, Meisner wanted a flag there, I think, as it was Jalen Owens in coverage. Or sorry, that was Ruiz who was the intended target on that one. But they won't throw it, and it's a good play from Jalen Owens regardless. He'll trot out off of the field. And
as they brought in another big man, you'd have to imagine the run support is what they're looking to beef up on this next play.
Yeah, they'll send in Jalen Weber, who stays out there, and looks like a bit of a nickel package here.
And now here they are, heading out left with it, and finally going down, but not until they get a fair chunk of yardage. I'm kind of confused what happened on that play, Cash.
Yeah, it just looked like another design QB run from Nash, and just finds a little bit of room and able to get forward for a gain of about 5. Sets up third and manageable here for Western Colorado, and the Mountaineers looking to keep this drive alive. They found themselves on third down a lot so far today. Again, they haven't been great on third down conversions, but they just came off another huge one there, so we'll see if they can get it done again.
5 receivers set for the Mountaineers. Nash calling something out. Audibles being adjusted. And what do they have on 3rd and 5? Snap now, coming back. It's Nash looking downfield. He fires, finds his man, and that one incomplete.
Yeah, just popped right out of the hands right there of his intended target.
I mean, it looked like he maybe rolled over the ball himself. We've got the replay for you here. Nash throws out left. His man was there for it. Unsure what exactly it was.
It looked like that might have been Caden Meisner was the intended target, but yeah, that one just pops right out.
And on 4th down, oh wait, no, never mind, my bad.
You thought they were going for it.
Well, I didn't see the punter back there.
Yeah.
And so, if you only see that second tier and you only see the line, you'd be curious as the punt's going to fall into the hands of the Wildcats. No laundry on the field after a man just gets thrown to the ground that wasn't even in the middle of a blocking assignment.
I don't know if he wanted to block in the back. I didn't actually see what happened there, but
well, he got shoved to the ground after not catching the return.
Yeah, but 10 minutes left in the 4th. Wildcats down by 1. We'll see what Kennedy McGill and company can come out and do. They've been really good at getting those big chunk plays in the pass game back in this game, which we've seen them kind of struggle to get going in the latter half of the regular season, but the run game, what they lean on, we'll see if they start with it here with Justice Taylor in the game.
Well, the Wildcats obviously don't need to make it far into the opposition's territory to score, as this running attempt is just not going to be right. Maybe a misplaced attempt to get the rushing game going when you're down by 1 and only have 10 minutes to work with left in the game.
Yeah, that was Ryder Bumgarner there. Obviously, you're not in anywhere near panic mode. You can still run your offense, and you actually probably prefer to choose some time off the clock if you're the Wildcats. But, yeah, right there just swarming on the run play was Western Colorado, and they've done a pretty good job of containing the huge chunk plays in the rushing attack, but the Wildcats still been whittling away all night. Afternoon, I guess.
And McGill in the backfield. Running back to his right. He's going to stop immediately, throw the screen. Now driving down the field and getting a good number of yards is going to be the wideout on the right side.
Yeah, it was Samaje Featherstone on the reception on just the quick route to the wide receiver on the outside, and just trying to let your guy get up the sideline. Gets a gain of about maybe 7 as they started behind the sticks. And, yeah, just trying to get the ball out of the hands of McGill quick. And now 3rd down, and the Wildcats do not want to go 3 and out here and give the ball back to this dynamic Western Colorado offense.
And so McGill has a running back to his left. Man in motion heads that direction. Running back flips to the other side. 2 receivers on the near side, 1 on the far side. McGill getting ready. Snap is not going to get off before Laundry hits the field on a false start. The Wildcats, as we previously noted, with a hot barrel tonight, in the sense that shooting yourself in the foot seems to be just a sought-after event by CWU.
Yeah, so we'll bring up about 3rd down and 9, and now kind of, you could maybe have even ran it at 3rd and 4 or whatever it was before that, or you have a whole lot of different route concepts. Now you kind of have to try and force the ball down the field, and looks like they're playing kind of a shell coverage right now, right at the sticks.
And now McGill gets ready once more. 3rd and 9. Snap now coming. He's going to step back far, and he's going to uncork one into double coverage. That one, they are lucky, didn't get picked off. It should have been 100 times out of 100.
And it looks like we have a flag on the play.
Laundry in the backfield.
Yeah, we'll see what they call. They're going to call it on Central, it looks like. And, yeah, McGill just kind of hucking one up right there, trying to get the conversion. They'll call holding.
And it will be declined,
We'll
so
bring
the punt team
4th
will come
down.
back out.
So now, yeah, you're the Wildcat defense, and once again, you're being asked to get the ball back to your offense, who's kind of struggled to maintain any kind of consistent production all night. Western Colorado's defense doing a great job of keeping them contained, but still, anybody's game. There's a lot of time left with 8 minutes and 45 seconds left in the 4th.
Rolling out the punt team once more. And a flag is going to fly before this one gets booted away. I mean, I don't understand what exactly could have taken place on that, unless it's a false start of sorts. And it is. So, wow, that's one way to make it further in the playoffs.
Yeah, so the pre-snap penalties just killing the Wildcats right now, and they'll be pushed back even further. Now Redding's going to have to punt out of his own end zone, and if you're Western Colorado, you're looking to probably have this ball at about the 50-yard line with a chance to put some more points on the board.
I don't know, Cash. Typically, the saying, the lights being too bright, would only apply at night, but seeming as though the stadium lighting has just been beaten down on the Wildcats here tonight. As this one booted away, it's a nice long punt. The return will be registered, and it's going to get them back up to about, say, their own 39.
Yeah, that was a fantastic punt from Redding out of his own end zone. And, boy, I didn't give him enough credit with the 50-yard line prediction. That was an incredible boot, all the way back to about the 25.
Yeah, so does a great job on that one. Leaves a good spiral off the boot. We're going to take a, well, actually, no, we won't. Sometimes I think I might take a second, collect my thoughts, but at the end of the day, what are you even going to say? You're going to say Drew Nash is going to come out onto the field, and he's going to throw an absolute heater, 4 out of 5 plays, rush it in for the last. One way or another, Drew Nash out on the field with the remainder of the Mountaineer offense. They'll have extra blocking help and 4 receivers. One man in motion. He's going to get the handoff from Nash. Now he's going to get smoked on the other side, but not before he gets a good number of yards.
Yeah, good play by Brett McCullough right there. Just kind of sets up the blocker where he wants him in a quick shed to get Ruiz as he's trying to cut through the inside on the jet sweep. It's still a good gain, but it could have been more if McCullough didn't have that discipline on the AA. You'll see him shed that block there. Also, looked like that might have been Chase Colson again coming up and spearing.
You'd have to imagine as though the Western Colorado offense is going to want this ball on the ground as much as possible. Keep some time off the clock. Is now Nash getting ready. Snap now coming. He's got men on the run. Looking deep on the left side. He's going to bobble toss this one, and it is caught. So Wildcat defense gives up on that one, and it's going to bite him. So.
Well, it looked like he got hit as he threw that football again, but they got lucky right there that DJ Allen Jr. was there to make the grab. That one just hung up in the air, and Wildcats weren't expecting it. And what a lucky play there for them. They caught a break as Lloydhammer was closing in again. And so was Ty King. Both of them were in the backfield on Nash that play.
The Mountaineers in the backfield. Ready to go once more. Nash gets the snap, steps back, searching out left. He's going to fire deep down the left side. Touchdown, Mountaineers! Driving the dagger into the heart of the home crowd. And just like that, Western Colorado takes a full touchdown lead if the PAT goes in well, and a 2-point over Central Washington University.
And that's Josh Dixon with the touchdown grab. And Nash just steps up into the pocket with such authority and delivers a dart to a guy who just beat his man down the sideline. And now, yeah, Ryan got a chance to make this an 8-point game, and Western Colorado has been pouring it on here in the passing attack these last few drives. That one's blocked. Wow, that's huge.
That's exactly what you needed. If you're Central Washington University, that just about evens the playing field. If Central can come back onto the field now and they can get a touchdown, they have their own destiny in their hands. You could kick a PAT, have this game tied, or hypothetically, we see a situation where a 2-point conversion wins the game for Central. Despite either of those situations, 7 minutes remaining in this game. Cash, that was the biggest thing Central could have done.
Yeah, that was huge right there. You don't force yourself to have to go for 2 now. But again, we're looking at this replay here on that. I mean, what a dart from Drew Nash, who finally had a little bit of time in the pocket and was able to step up into it and deliver a throw. And again, you know, we haven't seen it so much tonight just because the Wildcats have been producing so much pressure. But Nash, man, I tell you what, he's been waiting for a clean pocket all night. He finally gets one and delivers a dart to Dixon on the outside for a touchdown. And regardless of whether it was 6 or 7 points there for them, this one is now within reach for the Wildcats with just a PAT. But they've got to get in the end zone first, and Western Colorado has not been allowing that.
So the kickoff will be the name of the game here. Booted away. And this one looks like maybe a return is in play. It is. Featherstone makes the reception. He's going to fire up that right side, and he will go down at around the 25. So not as though he got a lot more than what he would have, but a good attempt at that.
I got to say, I love watching Ryder Bumgarner as the off returner go in and just try. He's just a headhunter out there on the blocking, and
it's like
he laid another big one right there. Obviously, the return doesn't end up being much, but just quick shout out to Ryder Bumgarner, who's been so effective as a special teamer this year and just loves to go out and hit.
I don't know if there's any more cohesive a unit on this Wildcat team than just the overall support squad. I mean, the offensive line, incredible. The blockers on the special teams, great. Just one of those teams, top to bottom, that on paper looks like they should be posed for greatness this offseason. As now here's Kennedy McGill driving his way forward. He's going to keep this one. He's going to dodge a couple of men, but just a bad horizontal move is going to leave him with only about 3 yards gained, 4 yards gained.
Well, yeah, and I mean, say all you want about how the Wildcats have looked in the regular season. They are trailing here, Brian. And, I mean, if they want to continue this, what's really been a magical season for the Wildcats, ranked number 5 in the nation, and it really just such high aspirations and hopes for this team, and they are finding themselves down here, and they are going to need to get it together on the offensive side of the ball.
So McGill sends a man in motion out left. Still one man in the backfield with him. He's going to fake it to him, and he's going to get snuffed out. I mean, the Wildcats found success through the air, and now they've all but abandoned that approach. And it seems like running the football's not going to help you the same way it hasn't for your last 2 offensive drives.
Yeah, that looked like it might have been Cameron Cooper again in the backfield. There was just no fooling them on that one. They were instantly in the backfield. They had numbers against the Wildcats, and they take them down. They've been taking care of business in this run game, Ryan. And, they obviously the Wildcats have gotten theirs. They always will with how much they run the football, but huge credit to the Mountaineers for how they've been able to stifle that run game for the most part tonight.
Now Kennedy McGill and CWU steps back, fires out left to his tight end, Malloy. And, I mean, that was not a play that was going to get you a first down there either way. Malloy goes out of bounds. And now with almost 5 minutes remaining, Central Washington's going to have to boot it away again. And they can't be happy about this. That was not a good drive at all.
Yeah, and an interesting play call, I think. I don't know if when you're trying to get the first, you want to put it in the hands of your tight end, but especially on just a quick out route like that, but they'll get a fair catch. And now, again, Ryan, I mean, if they get points here, this thing becomes almost insurmountable for the Cats, so the defense going to have to come up big here, and Western Colorado has definitely started to get a little bit of rhythm in the passing game, which is not what you want to see if you're the Wildcats right now. You've been pretty good at holding them all game. But now, I mean, in a moment like this that's so big, looks like the Wildcats actually send out 4 down linemen, which we haven't seen a whole lot. So maybe trying to refocus on getting some pressure into the backfield. And actually, Mikhail Edward will check out of the game. They'll stay with just 3.
They did have that one little glimpse of some pretty solid QB pressure earlier when they got the interception. They're going to need some sort of a miracle here. As here's the snap, back to Nash. He hands that one off, and down goes Quinn in the backfield. No gain. He'll actually lose quite a lot. That's about a 5-6 yard gain.
Yeah, that's Brett McCullough there, who, again, first-team all-conference player, also first-team all-academics. You can see it right there. He's been watching film as he just gets into the backfield quickly, and he is fired up after that one. McCullough just so important for this defense, and I mean, right there coming up with a huge play. I mean, that's almost a 6-yard loss right there, Ryan.
Yeah. To put your opposition back at about now at 2nd and 16 start, that's exactly what they needed to do. Now, unfortunately, the last time they were in this kind of a situation, there was about a 20-yard dart that got thrown. As now another run play, not going to go anywhere. Get them back to about the original's line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and they're just trying to work some clock here, I think, and just kind of get the run game moving. But now at 3rd and 12, right, you don't want to give the ball back to the Wildcats with this much time left. But again, you're in the driver's seat if you're Western Colorado right now. If you think that taking time off is more important, maybe you see some kind of draw play or maybe a quick screen pass here, but you definitely don't want to take a sack and get this thing pushed back even further. So we'll see how aggressive they want to be on this 3rd and 12.
Snap now coming to Nash on what could be the biggest play of the game. He's going to get sacked! Nash goes down in the backfield! Was it McCullough?
It was Ty King, who now has another sack. And look, he just bullies his man off the line. And look at this. You'll see Ty King just bang.
Oh, my goodness.
Bowls him over. And like I said, worst case scenario for Western Colorado is to get sacked right there and lose more yardage. The clock will keep moving. But Ty King, who has been unbelievable, another first-team all-conference player in the LSC. That's his 13th sack on the season. He has looked unbelievable. And, man, he just bullies his man right there.
Folks, gear up for it. If your seatbelt is not clicked in, you better get it there, because this is starting to, the punt is registered after they dragged it for a little bit there. Down around the 26, 27 yard line will be the Wildcats to start this one off. But as I was saying, folks, strap in if you haven't already. This is looking almost identical to a situation that we were in just a week ago today. 20-27, your current score. The Wildcats trail by a touchdown. They'll have 2 minutes and 21 seconds to work with the 2-minute timeout in their favor. If Central Washington is able to drive down this field and get a first down here past the 2-minute timeout, they've got a chance to take their own destiny in their own hands. But we will see. Kennedy McGill in the backfield. Central cannot afford any, as this one is going to be an incomplete pass outright. They just cannot afford any inconsistencies. They can't.
No, they can't. And, you know, we saw, again, you know, last week against Western Oregon, Kennedy McGill struggling, you know, throughout the whole game, really, but getting it together at the end and coming up clutch for the Wildcats. We'll see if he can do it again. There's no question as to whether or not Kennedy McGill can buck up in the clutch, but we'll see once again if he's got it in him. As you're right, they are down to their last breath here once more, Ryan.
Kennedy McGill, 3 men on the far side, 1 man on the near side, a running back with them, and a 5-man line. McGill, the snap, steps back, looking forward. He's going to fire his man with separation, and he's unable to keep moving. It looks like they're looking at a ground ball to short and stopping their run before first. I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah, Jalen Grable kind of slowed up and a little bit on that one, and not sure if there was another miscomm there. We'll look at the replay here as McGill fires towards him, and yeah, he slowed up. I mean, a little bit maybe, but I think the ball was also just a little too far out in front of him.
You saw the jersey tug.
Yeah,
right
maybe a little bit, but they missed one there, and 3rd down and 10. And, I mean, the Wildcats need some yards here. You do not want to be looking 4th down and 10 in the face.
Kennedy McGill, with the weight of basically the feelings of this entire stadium on his shoulders. A man in motion heads out right. McGill takes the snap. Looking downfield, he's going to be chased out right. He fires. It is incomplete. It'll be 4th and 10, and the Wildcats, after having opportunity after opportunity to give themselves some space, have found themselves in the worst possible situation.
Yeah, you're at the 2-minute timeout now, though, and they're going to have some time to talk this one over. Again, though, I mean, Shades of Western Oregon will say it again. They were in this exact same situation where there was three straight incompletions. It was 4th and 10. They were able to convert, but again, this is a different type of defense that they are playing here today, and Western Colorado has been stout all night. Now, once again, the Wildcats down to it, and I mean, a season that has been so great for the Wildcats. Once again, though, in jeopardy of coming to a swift end in the 1st round. They lost to Western Colorado last year in the 1st round, and they are one play away from that probably being the case again. So we'll see what they want to dial up. Fisk and Ferreter, they've been so creative with how they get guys open in moments like this, and I would expect Bo Giannet to be out on the field again just so you can keep them guessing. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that was the case, but I don't know, Ryan. This would be really disappointing for the Wildcats if it were to end like this.
I mean, Cash, just to add a little bit of meat onto that, the Wildcats have shot themselves in the foot about 5 separate times.
They are going to decide to punt this. So they have all 3 timeouts remaining, it would seem then, and they're going to try and trust their defense to get them the ball back. I think that's probably the right decision. I didn't know that they had all 3 timeouts left, but I think this is probably the right decision. That's a punt that's a little high in the air and takes a bad bounce. But
I think that decision's going to eat them.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I think, you know, you're trusting your defense right now to stop the run, which is absolutely what they're going to be doing. I mean, you want to have them burn all 3 of those timeouts, but yeah, they did not want to risk it there on the 4th down. I think you let your defense kind of give your offense another chance to reset and run a full 2-minute offense, but yeah, I mean, it all comes down to this. 1 first down pretty much seals this game, Ryan.
That it does. I mean, yeah, the Wildcats are going to need something here. I don't know where the trust is lacking and what the offense had the opportunity to do there, but now here's the snap to Drew Nash. He hands it off. The man goes down. They only allow, say, 2-3 yards. Timeout will be taken. And there's all kinds of,
yeah,
I mean,
a little extracurricular down there, but I think that they were just finishing through the block on the play, but you get the timeout now as the Wildcats, and after about 2nd and 2, and yeah, you'll see here again. You know, if you're Fisk, right, you got to go back and look at that decision to not go for it on the 4th down and say, okay, we have the utmost trust in the #1 rushing defense in the LSC to stop the run, as they're definitely going to try and make the Wildcats chew these timeouts. And it's a testament to how much they trust this defense and how much they trust Kennedy McGill to work the field with no timeouts remaining. I mean, you need a touchdown again to even tie it, but you're going to be working against the clock most certainly. Even if you get the ball back, they still have to make 2 more stops to get them to punt this one away, and you have to imagine they're not going to throw it and leave the Wildcats with an extra timeout. But yeah, I don't know, Ryan. Interesting. I mean, you never want to be in this situation anyways. There's just, I mean, like you said earlier, just some missed opportunities from the Wildcats, I think, on the offensive side of the ball. A couple of overthrown balls, a couple of maybe, miscommunications on routes. And
the turnovers.
Yeah, turnovers, the fumbles. And, this is an offense that today has only put up 13 points. I mean, 2 field goals, 1 touchdown. One of the touchdowns came from the defense. So Western Colorado has had their numbers. All credit to that defense for being so stout tonight.
No, you cannot take anything away from the Mountaineers. They have rightfully won this game. As now here's the snap back to Nash. He's going to hand it off, and he's going to continue to get pushed forward by his line, but goes down. And now this is far more manageable than the Wildcats would have wanted this 3rd down to be.
Yeah, and you have to ask yourselves then, if you're Western Colorado, if you get this one forward on the 3rd down and it's 4th and 1, do you just go for it and try to ice the game, or do you risk giving the ball back to McGill and company at the 45-yard line? We'll see if they think this is 4-down territory. You might see a pass here, I think, Ryan, if they want to try and ice this game. This is the spot that you do it, so we'll see what they try to dial up and how aggressive they want to get, but Wildcats back to it, third and 4. This is it. A defense that's been really good all season. Can they save the Wildcats and at least give them a chance to come back in this game? Be answered here. Yeah, be answered here in just a moment. 1:40 left on the clock.
Yeah. It has been a beautiful day here at Tomlinson Stadium. Ellensburg, Washington, creating a great home atmosphere. Well, just a great atmosphere in general for this game. But Central Washington really needing some sort of an advantage to fall their way on this next play and everything that follows. Drew Nash and the Mountaineers breaking the huddle and coming back onto the field. The line is set on both sides. A man in motion. Here's the snap. Nash going to keep it himself. He gets smoked. And the Wildcats force 4th down and a loss of yards. Timeout will be called.
What a hit on that play by Chase Lloydhammer, it looked like, who got through there. I believe that was Lloydhammer again. Yeah, and it was. Jeez, what a hit from Lloydhammer, who's had himself a game. And going to give the Wildcats a chance, unless they decide to go for this, which I wouldn't imagine is on the docket for them, is the Wildcats have no timeouts. You want to just play field position here, I think, and not risk giving it to them at the midfield mark. So I'm assuming we'll see a punt here unless they want to get super aggressive. But Kennedy McGill and company, I mean, it's not quite over yet, but they are going to be working against the clock for sure. As a minute and 30, no timeouts and 1:36 left.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you're staring down on that 4th and 10, either losing the game if you go for it and you don't get it, or,
converting it. But obviously it ends up being the right decision as they stop them here. And now you don't have to have it all come down to one play. Now you've got 1:36 to work, and you can let the troops calm down a little bit. It doesn't have to be all or nothing in one play, and the defense does their job in getting a great stop and give this team a chance. But I tell you what, there is nothing really about this Wildcat offense in the second half that would scream that they'll have an easy time getting this down the field. Western Colorado has just had them all night.
As this one, a bullet kick that will stop up at around the 10-yard line as it's jumped on.
So 90 yards, no timeouts, and 1.5 minutes for the Cats. And it all comes down to this, Ryan. I mean, what more can you ask for, though, in a playoff game? This is what you want to see. It's been a tightly contested matchup between two teams with so much respect for each other. The coaching staffs have so much respect for each other. They've seen each other in the playoffs so many times. Each has gotten a win, and if the Wildcats want to be on the winning record side of that matchup that they've had, it's going to take a miracle again.
Kennedy McGill in the pocket for Central Washington University. He steps back, looks in front of himself. Now he's being forced out right. Continuing that way, he makes a throw on the run that is out of bounds. And wow.
Yeah, good decision from Kennedy not to force anything there and just get it out.
Throwing outside the numbers.
Yeah, now you're down to it, though, right? So, I mean, you got to think maybe you're trying to just get a little closer to the sticks. You don't have to get it all back in one play. You have time if you're the Wildcats. So try and string together your 2-minute offense and just work it how it's supposed to go. There's no need to panic here yet, I don't think. You've got plenty of time to get this thing working.
Kennedy McGill in the backfield. Lined up next to him is Taylor. The snap. Stepping back. Looking down the right side. He's going to go on the move again as he lets go of that one. And this ball is no good. Incomplete once again. Kennedy McGill needs a 2.5 seconds from his offensive line so that he doesn't need to be sprinting to the right when he lets go of this ball. He can't control where it's falling.
Well, and also, I mean, give credit to the secondary right now of Western Colorado. They are blanketing this field, and McGill has nowhere to go on his first reads. And, yeah, I mean, also credit to the pressure this defensive line is making, forcing him to roll out the same way both times. And now I think if you learn from last time, you want to just get some yards here so you can convert on fourth if it gets there.
3rd and 10. Kennedy McGill fires across the middle, and it's batted away by big number 58. It's Cade Musser.
Cade Musser also had a fantastic game. Him and Cameron Cooper have really taken over for the Mountaineers. And now you're looking at it again, 4th and 10. I guess it didn't matter which way you write it. They find themselves in the same situation again, and now you need it all. And, yeah, again, what a play by Cade Musser, the inside linebacker, who's been so good today. And
well,
This
all
is it.
comes down to this. With a minute and 8 seconds remaining, 4th and 10, the Wildcats have burnt every last one of their flares. The throw from McGill is caught for the first down. Now they need to get back to the line if they want another play. As we said previously, there's a minute and 8 seconds that they have to work with.
yeah,
First down, they get the sticks back up to it. Kennedy McGill in the backfield with his boys, 3 men out right on the receiving end. Here's McGill firing deep downfield. The catch isn't made as again the wide receivers just can't place themselves in the right spot. Was it overthrown? Yes, it was, but you had a step to use.
Yeah, and that does bounce off the hands of Grable. But also, going back to that 4th down conversion, who else would it be right there but Logan Brady, who's come up clutch for the Wildcats in every way you can imagine. But now the clock stops. You can reset a little bit. There's still 55 seconds. Let's get a second to get a play call in, and you can kind of get back to running your offense. But, yeah, Grable going to want to have that one back a little out of reach, but
It's
man,
been the
they've
story
just,
of
yeah,
the night
it,
so
it,
far.
It really has, Ryan. It really has.
Kennedy McGill, he's in the backfield. He's ready for yet another play. 2nd and 10, stepping back, looking to the right side, firing, catching it, and firing himself down the field, continuing to go, and they're just about at the 50, at the 49-yard line. Now everybody racing back to what will be the line of scrimmage. Clock not running. College football rules. It will begin once again when they get to the line. Here's the snap. Back to McGill, looking downfield. He's got to move with it. He's going to keep it. No, he's not. Finds his man off the back of the helmet.
Yeah, what a great grab there from Samaje Featherstone over the middle before that play happens. And now 36 seconds at midfield, Ryan. Boy, oh boy, do the Cats need something out of the bag of tricks right now.
What they need, Cash, is a long bomb, which they're just unable to connect on.
That's going to be difficult to do right now. They're definitely letting those DBs know to cover deep and to play that deep shell. And right now, I think you kind of have to focus on just getting this within a range that you can run multiple route concepts to try and get this thing into the end zone. You don't want to be having to throw a Hail Mary at the end.
So now McGill, again, a lot of pressure. He throws it to his tight end who loses yards. Get back to the line, they'll have to. As, boy, the Wildcats just not looking good under pressure at all here.
Yeah, they're going to have to spike this one and face another 4th down. So they'll spike that one after a great open field tackle on Malloy, just trying to check it down and get out of bounds to give yourself a chance, but Western Colorado not fooled. And now if 4th and 10 wasn't enough for you, how about 4th and 11?
Is there not a no-huddle play that's instilled for that situation?
Well, I think you want some time to talk over the 4th down play. And
well, do you want to put Kennedy McGill in a situation where if he has to move at all and make a throw, then you lose the game?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I guess, yeah, you could say that. It was interesting for the spike there to bring it to 4th, but this is it either way.
And here's the snap. It's low. Flag gets thrown.
Start. They're going to call a false start. We had movement early.
And ladies and gentlemen, this might be smoke from the end of the barrel for what'll be the final time. And the Central Washington Wildcats stamping their own book with a big fat red X. I cannot believe it. Another pre-snap penalty puts the Wildcats in just one of the worst situations they've been in. How do you keep doing it?
Well, now you got 4th and 16, staring it in the face. The season coming down to this, and here you go, Ryan. This is it. Can you get 16 yards?
All the marbles. Kennedy McGill in the backfield for the Wildcats. Snap is to him. He's going to keep it, and that's the season. Central Washington will lose this game to Western Colorado 27-20. The season aspirations for Central Washington University stomped out like a cigarette in the dark. Just a brutal loss for Central Washington. And what a win it is for Western Colorado. The Mountaineers come into Ellensburg, Washington, make the trip, find their way at Tomlinson Stadium, and have their way with the Wildcats. The Mountaineers trekking into the hills with the rifle on his back. And what did they come home with, Cash? But a Wildcat, unfortunately. It is just a brutal situation. A sea of fans sprinting their way out of Ellensburg right now. Western Colorado's coaching staff getting out of the booth. And let me tell you, folks, in what was a great matchup, in what was a great season for Ellensburg and Central Washington University, it ends in fire and heartbreak on their own home field. Every opportunity to win it, every opportunity to move into the next round, and zero of the execution.
Yeah, I have to give so much credit to the Mountaineers defense, Ryan. I mean, the #1 defense in the RMAC, they matched up so well with the Wildcats. They did not allow them to bully them on the ground like we've seen the Wildcats do, and they made McGill uncomfortable all night. He never got into rhythm for the most part. He just was unable to have the time to sit back and let plays develop. The pressure was getting on him quick, especially on those last drives, and yeah, some disappointed faces here in Ellensburg, but I tell you what, Ryan, this Mountaineer team is for real, and whoever it is that they are going to be seeing in the next round of the playoffs better watch out, because this defense was lights out. And the Wildcats are going to have a lot to talk about this offseason. There's so many positives to take away if you're a Wildcat fan and a fan of this team. So many positives for a team with really national championship aspirations, ranked #5 in the country, who are just shocked here in Ellensburg as their season ends in a brutal fashion. But the Mountaineers, I mean, I tell you what, they came in and earned every single point. They earned all of it. They overcame the pick six at the end of the half. They came back from the deficit that the Wildcats were able to put together at the start of the second half. And Drew Nash, a couple of big throws from him, and he stepped up when it really mattered. And I tell you what, Ryan, it was a heartbreak for the ones in Ellensburg. But man, what a great win, and what a performance from the Mountaineers as this one comes to a close.
What a performance indeed, as the Mountaineers will move forward in the playoffs. If you are an LSC football fan tuning into this matchup to see how Central Washington ended up finishing their season, of course, that is not necessarily what you were looking for, most likely, unless you are a Western Oregon fan. But for Central Washington University, more specifically for the LSC, your only hopes are the Texas Permian Basin Falcons, who do move on after a victory today. But one way or another, for these fans in Ellensburg, not the LSC team you wanted to see knock off an RMAC competitor, Cash.
No, not at all. And
at the end of the day, a brutal one for those fans in Ellensburg. A great day to be a fan of the Western Colorado Mountaineers. One way or another, we thank you all, each and every one of you, at home, in stadium, or on the road, for tuning in to this matchup. For Ryan Gildersleeve, Cash Brown, for ESPN Plus, and for this season, we're signing off.